Hello, hello. Oh, wait. No, it's good. Hello, hello. Okay. What is up? What is up, guys? Big bars, red door, laughing man. What is up, my brothers? What is up, my sister? Guys, what is up? What is up? Hello, hello. Thank you guys for being here. I think we'll have an interesting discussion today. Okay, I think we'll have an interesting discussion today. So before we continue, before we start, I want to say this. Okay, I believe in the tenets of America. Yeah, I was muted. I just noticed it. I believe in the tenets of America, right? The freedom of religion. I'm not creating this. This stream is not about saying that all Muslims are terrible. No, I'm not creating the stream to say that you shouldn't be practicing certain religions. No, no. But what I am saying is that if I wanted to live in a predominantly Muslim country, I would have illegally immigrated to a Muslim nation. I didn't. Okay, I've said this countless times before. Okay, one of the things that made the West what it is that it's a predominantly white nations, predominantly Christian nations. Okay, that's what has given us the result that it's given us. I'm not saying that white people are amazing, but I'm saying that they made an amazing country. Okay. They made an amazing country along with other people, right? Along with other people. But what didn't add to, or what didn't add to or make America so great is, other religions. So when I see videos, right? And we're going to show some videos, right? When I see videos of Muslims immigrating to another country, particularly a Western country, and then wanting to change said Western country, then I'll say that's a bit of insanity, right? That's a bit of lunacy, in my opinion. All right. So we'll be talking about that. We'll be looking at some videos because here's the thing, right? I'm old. I'm an old man. I'm an old man. So I was here during a time where we didn't have a lot of Muslims, right? We didn't have a lot of Muslims, and I'm seeing that now. I'm seeing Americans converting to converting to Islam, right? And I was like, you do what you want, but I'm just saying it feels like such a unique, unexpected explosion. Because I was thinking of this, right? I was thinking it's funny that if you weren't a good Christian, do you think you'd be a better Muslim? I doubt that. But that's my thing where I just think that it's ridiculous. It makes no sense that a lot of people are converting to Islam. And I think we'll be talking about this, right? I don't think Islam is very suitable or compatible to the West. So we'll be talking about that. So I have a bunch of videos that I want to check out. Right? I have a bunch of videos I want to check out. All right, and link is in the description, or in the chat. Right, link is in the chat. If you guys want to join, you guys could. Okay. All right, let's get started. All right, let's get started.
Don't bother going to Japan if you're Muslim.
Japan is not an Islamic country. Please spread the word.
You're not going to find any halal options.
I don't see how that's surprising.
Don't bother going to Japan if you're Muslim.
It's no secret that Japan is not an Islamic country. And if people from your religion don't know about that, please spread the word.
You're not going to find any halal options.
I don't see how that's surprising. This is not your country.
You're going to be struggling to find good ramen.
There's no doubt that you struggle. And you knew about that, right? Because you're not going to other country without doing any research.
That good Japanese curry.
You're not expecting to see halal curry everywhere in Japan, right?
No halal options whatsoever.
But were you surprised that our country is filled with Japanese food?
A whole month I was there. You're stuck eating convenience store food.
You were going to stay in Japan for a whole month and you had no research done whatsoever, and you're still complaining.
And freaking tofu.
Let me interject my personal comment. I love tofu.
I don't know who lied and said there's all this halal food though.
Whoever said that is somebody who did some research, and it's not their fault that you didn't.
I was there for a whole month and this is what I was eating. This is what I was eating. Can you believe that?
Yes, I absolutely can.
I wouldn't bother going to Japan if
I always hate that, people want to go to other countries and expect said country to cater to you. Right? If they don't, let's say hypothetically, they have zero halal food. Okay, so what? It's not your right for, it's not your right that a country caters to you. Right? So, yeah. I mean, when you have dietary restrictions, that's up to you to do, right? That's up to you to fix. But there's a lot of talking with Japan. Okay, again, I wouldn't say we wouldn't consider Japan the West, but I mean, it's just another thing where it's interesting how Muslims are immigrating to Japan and wanting to change things about Japan, and the Japanese people are not liking it.
People gathered in Fujisawa, Japan, to protest the planned construction of a mosque near the Samukawa Shinto shrine, which dates back to around 460 AD, with the proposed mosque set to be larger than the shrine itself. Residents have filed over 2,500 complaints, citing concerns about noise from the call to prayer, traffic congestion, and burial customs that conflict with Japan's cremation tradition. The protest was led by Kawai Yusuke and his Yamato party, as Japan's Muslim population has grown from 110,000 in 2010 to roughly 420,000 today. Thousands of people gathered.
I'm amazed that, see, this is what I'm saying, right? I'm amazed that there's, I don't know if it's straight up immigrants or it's conversion. So I don't know, right? It could be a bit of both. I'm just amazed by this. This is the thing where this happens when we have low birth rates, right? When we have low birth rates, we are opening our borders, right, for others to join in, right? Others to immigrate, others to just, come into said countries. This is the thing where it's I'll say this. I think it's our own fault, right? A lot of it is our own fault, where since we have a low birth rate, no surprise that other countries are jumping in because we allow new people in, and then they will slowly overcome us. It's like they're using our foolishness against us. Crusader, what is up? What is up? So I think that's a little bit interesting to talk about.
Have a look at
Islam is
Have a look at the new Little Palestine street sign that was unveiled last night at 83rd and Harlem in Bridgeview. The area from 79th to 113th is one of the largest Palestinian American communities in the country.
And some of the best food around, in my opinion.
Oh, I don't doubt it. Oh, don't doubt it.
Now, I don't mind, like, people, they're doing a little, their own little areas, right? Like, Chinatown, all, little Tokyo, all these things. Okay. I don't mind it. Right. I really don't. Like I said, this is not about hating on Muslims or saying that, you're not allowed in the in the West, or that, you shouldn't practice your religion. It's that I feel, right, it's only a start. Okay. I feel like it's not about, wanting to come to America and embrace being an American and just your culture is part of it, right? I feel like it's, again, a lot of things I heard, it's more about, it's a subterfuge, right? Or it's like something that's, that when I said this, right? I've said this before, where feminism, right? Feminism was supposedly about equality, but I believe that was just a veil, right? Equality was a veil where I believe feminists actually wanted power. Okay. They actually wanted power. They didn't want equality, but they knew that, let's gain equality first, and then it'd be easier to fight for power. And that's what I believe with, let's say, with the Muslim or Islamic, movement, where they're coming in to immigrant to try to assimilate, but that's just again a veil where they're more trying to immigrate to these countries by in mass, and then slowly increase their population and then try to take over. That's what I
Islam is taking over Europe faster than you think. France is already nearly 10% Muslim, Sweden over 8%, Germany and UK around 7%. And integration is going absolutely fantastic. In the UK, only 51% of working age Muslims have a job. Across France, Germany, and Sweden, unemployment and welfare rates are triple the native average. Over 50% of young Muslims in Europe say they want Sharia over local law. Crime's a real treat too. Sexual assaults in Sweden up over 1,000% since the 1970s. In Germany, just 7% of the population accounts for nearly 40% of sexual assaults. Now add the birth gap. Native European women average 1.6 kids. Muslim immigrants, 2.6. By 2050, Sweden could hit 30% Muslim. France and the UK near 18%. And those numbers explode by 2100. If the wars in the Middle East stop, I'm looking at you, US and Israel, and AI kills the demand for immigrant labor, this might slow down. Or is it already too late for Europe? Islam is...
No, first of all, right, I think it has nothing to do with the war. Muslims were, Muslims were slowly moving over all the way to begin with. I don't, see, here's my thing, right? I don't believe it's to, for necessarily freedom of religion. Okay, it's not because they have that freedom, right? They to practice, Islam in their own countries. I believe it's to take over, right? I believe it's to take over. So even though the war in Iran or whatever in the Middle East, even if it happened or didn't happen, I still correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not. I've said I'm not a Bible thumper. I'm definitely not a a Quran thumper, right? I don't really know much about it, but what I've heard, okay, what I've heard is, one of the tenets of the Quran is to spread your influences, right? To spread the word of Allah. So that's Crusader. Try to turn down the I hear an echo. I hear myself. Yeah. But yeah, this yeah, the stats that they were using, right? They were talking about is very scary in my opinion. Okay, it's very scary, and partly it's our fault, right? It's our own countries having a declining birth rate, and then we have other countries, other group of people slowly trying to get in, right? While they don't have a declining birth rate, we do. Yes, we'll definitely be talking about that.
Taking over Europe faster than you think. France is already nearly 10% Muslim, Sweden over 8%, Germany and UK around 7%. And integration is going absolutely fantastic. In the UK, only 51% of...
Only about a little over half of Muslims are working. So literally, you have a population that has immigrated into your country and they're not even doing any work. They're not even contributing to your to the country. About 49% of Muslim population isn't even contributing to your infrastructure, to your society. And we need them. Why? I've lived in the UK, right? My ex, lives in the UK, and I've heard plenty of horror stories and how they he will be saying, right? It's the crime rate. Okay, is it degeneracy? Right. So what's the point? What's the desire to have these immigrants in our countries when they can't even they don't assimilate, right? They're not assimilating, so they're not becoming, they're not becoming like Americans or British. No, they're strictly sticking to their very individual or their Muslim or Islamic views or culture. They're not assimilating, and they're not adding anything to your nation. They're just being a drain, and they're being a danger.
Working age Muslims have a job. Across France, Germany, and Sweden, unemployment and welfare rates are triple the native average. Over 50% of young Muslims in Europe.
And they're draining, right? It's not like they're just not adding to your system, adding to your nation. They're also draining your nation. And this is the thing. Our weakness, right? Our weakness is our kindness. That's the problem. That's one of the things why I would even care, why I even would promote Trump, right? Because he's not trying to promote our weakness. The problem you seeing with affecting the UK is they're using their weakness against them.
They want Sharia over local law.
And that's a Sharia over local law. Right? They want something that's back from their original country into a new country. Why didn't you not stay in your original country then? Why? Because the point of their immigration isn't for a better life. No, it's to spread their influences, right? Is to spread Islam. That's the point. This is why there's the difference between how other immigrants go about it, how old school immigrants have been, and how other immigrant population or groups have been. They go to America for a better life. These immigrants, right? Muslims, right? They're going to the Western country not for a better life. They're going to Western country to drain Western country, to damage the Western country, to take over the Western countries.
A real treat too. Sexual assaults in Sweden up over 1,000% since the 1970s. In Germany, just 7% of the population accounts for nearly 40% of sexual assaults. Now add the birth gap. Native European women average 1.6 kids. Muslim immigrants, 2.6. By 2050, Sweden could hit 30% Muslim. France and the UK, near 18%. And those numbers explode by 2100. If the wars in the Middle East stop, I'm looking at you, US and Israel, and AI kills the demand.
That's stupid. Like I said, it's the war has nothing to do with it. Oh, well, Laughing Man, that's you? The Crusader? That's you? I didn't know that. Well, yeah, you gotta you gotta fix that, right? I couldn't hear you, and then sometimes it's like I'm hearing an echo. So yeah, you gotta fix that. I don't believe, right? It has anything to, I mean, maybe the war accelerated where people are leaving, but again, the war has nothing to do with it, really, right? Muslims were already immigrating, right? Muslims were already leaving and trying to spread their influences.
And for immigrant labor, this might slow down. Or is it already too late for Europe? Islam is taking over Europe faster than you think.
Oh.
Here's this thing where this is the one where I find this kind of sad, right? Here we have an American, right? A Muslim American, so adamant to defend Palestine, right? To defend, Islam. And yet, God forbid you would even go to Islam, to go to Palestine or any Islamic nations, because you will have almost zero freedoms, right? But no, you have the comfort of living in America, right? Taking, being entitled to all its freedoms, and yet supporting another nation. Yeah.
Well, my point that I'm making is that if Hamas doesn't have any military bases, and you agree to that, and then you straight up say, well, they're attacking civilian areas. What would you like Israel to attack? The only thing is civilian areas.
No one. They should just be
So
at
they
peace.
should just be killed and attacked.
No one should be killed.
So what should Israel have done after October 7th?
Well, they're doing way too much because they've been fighting for
What should they have
almost 3
done?
years. Well, let me using your logic, you said that they were like being slaughtered and whatnot, like raped, whatnot. So like, I don't think that they should be killing back. I think they should just incriminate them because Palestine is
Okay,
under
how do you do
Israeli
that?
sovereignty.
How do you do that? They wear civilian clothes. They blend in with the civilian population.
No, dress up like in the uniform, the IDF uniform. And be
No,
like,
I'm talking about how do you incriminate the Hamas, PIJ, PRC, all the terrorist organizations in Gaza? How do you go in and incriminate them? How do you do that?
Well, first of all, interrogate them, ask if they did whatever they did, and if they say yes.
No, but how do you get in to go arrest thousands and thousands and tens of thousands, actually, Hamas members? How do you do that?
You have to interrogate them.
Yeah, but how do you go in and arrest? You have to arrest them first before you can bring them to interrogate them.
I feel like it's pretty easy.
Okay,
to
so
do
let's
that.
say they found one. They're like, we know there's a guy in this building. So they go in, then what? What's next?
Interrogate them, be like,
Yeah, but how do you go arrest him? You go and you say, hey, stop, and
Well,
then
no,
he
arrest
pulls
him
out
right
a
away.
gun and he starts shooting. What do you do then?
You're not supposed to shoot right away.
Okay, so the IDF has to be shot, but they're not allowed to shoot back.
No one should get shot.
Okay, but what if they do shoot? They're a terrorist organization. You agree Hamas is a terrorist
IDF?
organization? Hamas.
I did Hamas, yeah.
Okay,
Hamas
so if
and
they
IDF
start
terrorists.
okay, that's not true, but fine, whatever. That's not the point. Hamas, you go arrest him. You're in Gaza. You're a unit in the IDF. You go and you're like, we're not going to attack. We're not going to do airstrikes. We're going to go in and arrest them. So how do you arrest them when they start attacking? They hide in tunnels. By the way, they have 251 hostages that they're hiding in.
Then go find those
schools.
hostages,
Okay, how do you?
release them.
Okay, how do you do
Release
that? They
them.
hit them in schools, hospitals. One of the hostages was killed by a doctor, a Palestinian doctor, who took a syringe and injected air into her veins.
That did not happen. Where did you find that from? You're falling for like American and Israeli
It's
propaganda.
not American.
Okay, so where do you get your propaganda from? It's like, so if the information is counter to your information, people are falling for propaganda, right? American or Israel propaganda. Yet your information is not propaganda. Your information is correct. It's the sheer insanity of that. It's the sheer hypocrisy in that.
What country do you live in?
I'm an American, but I don't.
You're
live in
American. You have citizenship.
You live in America
pro-American.
too. I assume
You're
you have the ability to read local news. Yes.
Well, I'm American, but yeah,
Well, my point that I'm making.
I don't support.
You don't
Killing.
think
I don't
you don't
support
think
war.
you don't think any Palestinian is capable of killing a hostage?
Anybody's killing. Anybody's
So
capable of killing.
why are you so sure that didn't happen?
I never said it didn't happen.
You literally just said.
I just can't believe it. I just can't believe it.
Well, you better believe it.
It's hard to believe.
Did you know that no?
Why is it hard to believe? You just said anyone can kill it. Anyone can kill people. Yeah, it's hard to believe if it's a Palestinian killing someone. It's like, this is why I have these problem with these modern leftists. Just go. Leave the country. Go to where you love so much, right? But yet none of these people, not a single one of these people would dare live in Palestine. Not a single one of these people would dare live in Palestine. I've yet to see a video of these supposedly pro-Palestine people actually move to there.
Argamani,
Not see anyone from the alphabet community, not seen any woman who would have the balls to leave America, comfy America, and go to, let's say, Palestine.
For that video of that girl that was on the motorcycle crying for her boyfriend as they dragged her away from him. You remember that video?
Where is it at?
I'm gonna show you this
I've never
video.
seen that. You're on like the wrong side of media.
Well, first off, it's a video, so unless you're gonna tell me it's just fake, it's insane. Maybe you're not on the right side of media. Do you ever think of that? Because I read pro-Hamas news and pro-Israeli news. You seem
I
to
read
not know
everything
anything.
too.
I don't think
No,
you do.
I
If you
do
don't know who
read
Noah,
everything.
if you do not know who Noah Argamani is, that's I'd say that's pretty insane.
I doubt it. I doubt she reads both sides.
I probably do, but I want to know what video you're gonna show me.
And said, Noah, everything
Hold on, it's coming up.
We're taking you home.
Hold on, it's coming. This.
Kidnapped 8 months ago on a motorcycle by Hamas, now rescued by elite Israeli commandos.
So you see how she was crying. All right, here's her picture, right? The still of her crying as they drag her away on a motorcycle. You never seen that video?
No, I've never seen that. When did
So
that
that was on October 7th. That was Palestinians. Those weren't even Hamas, by the way, because Hamas were wearing the green headbands. Those were just normal Palestinians dragging this woman as she cries, reaching out for her boyfriend to save her, and he couldn't do anything.
She's really?
She was a dual national actually, but yeah, she's Israeli. She's not an
I don't
IDS.
think it should have happened.
I believe you that you don't think it should happen, but it did happen. And that woman, when Israel rescued her during an operation, they found her along with 3 other men. Do you know who was holding them? Do you think it was Hamas or normal Palestinian civilians?
Palestinian civilians?
It was. It was a doctor, an Al Jazeera reporter that were holding these hostages. What do you think should happen to those people? Do you think it's justified to kill those people?
And they should be sent to prison.
Well, they were killed
Or jail.
because when they went to go rescue Noah Argamani, the IDF soldiers were surrounded by Palestinians and Hamas shooting at them. And Israel obviously won, and they rescued her, and now she has been reunited with her boyfriend.
Well, okay, I'm glad she's reunited with her boyfriend, but she did not deserve to go through that.
But she did, because that's who the Palestinian people have been for many, many years. That's who they've been. And no, I don't think it's literally every single.
I'm not trying to make Palestine look bad. They are not all like that. There's bad people in every country. There's bad American civilians. There's bad Iraqi civilians.
Sure.
There's bad Palestinians. There's bad people everywhere. But why would they do that though? Do you support that?
Yeah, because Iraqi militia groups use civilian homes. We know this.
It was a regular civilian home. It wasn't military soldiers. It was a regular family.
Yeah, the Iraqi militia groups literally use these. What are you talking about? They had tunnels. They would use. Yes,
This
they
had
would.
nothing to do with Iraq. It had to do with Iraq, but it did not have to do with the Iraqi military group.
Habibti, there was way more. They were fighting way more than just the Iraqi military. First off, the Iraqi military was trying to help. I don't know where you're getting your information from.
Okay, they were trying to help.
They were
Iraq,
fighting militias. Yes. No, some of them did actually help us. That's incorrect. The militias is who we were fighting.
Our oil, didn't you?
Actually, we took 0 oil from Iraq.
You stole all our oil. That's why we're a 3rd world country. It used to be a 1st world country.
You're a 3rd world country because of Islam. You're a 3rd world country because of Islam.
I mean, you're the reason why my country is suffering. Your country's bombing my country right now and killing civilians.
Listen, if you have terrorists that invoke the name of Islam, right, then they deserve to die, and I have no problem bombing them, and I hope we continue to.
You have no problem bombing who?
The terrorist organizations.
But y'all killed everything and that. Y'all killed everyone. Like,
first off, that's just not true. But again,
Iraq is destroyed because of the United States.
Iraq is destroyed because of Islam. Iraq is destroyed because of Islam. Iraq just lowered the minimum.
Not because of Islam. No. Do not make my religion do that.
Iraq just lowered the age last year of marriage for women to 9 years old. Can you tell me why
they picked? You think they support the government in Iraq? And of course not.
I'm asking you, why do you think they picked that age?
I don't know.
You don't think it has anything to do with Islam at all?
That has nothing to do with Islam. That just has to do with government.
So the fact that he consummated the marriage with Aisha at 9, you think that's a big coincidence?
Okay, well, it's not. Well, it's just like.
I hate the blind defending, right? You are blindly defending your religion. I'm sorry, right? I agree. I mean, like, there's bad people and everything. Like, I don't think that Christianity is amazing, right? There's problems with it too. But to blindly defend it, that's where I have a problem with, okay? That's where I have a problem with. Now, I could say that, yeah, if some people use the religion in evil ways, yeah, those people are terrible. Because just like there has been the past where people use Christianity in terrible ways, 100% agree. But let's not lie to ourselves. what he just said is within the religion, right? It's not like you're changing words up. No, that's within the religion. So to not call that out is just say that you're blind. You're blind to your religion.
Because she was 9 years old, she was past the age of maturity because she already hit puberty. And Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he believed that.
You believe that? You believe she was mature?
That if you're past the age of maturity, you've already hit puberty, then you can get married. But
Wow. And then we have women thinking that they could call out pedos. I think they're pedos themselves.
You were mature at 9? Do you think you were mature at 9 years old?
No, but do you think every 9-year-old is mature? Every 9-year-old?
No 9-year-old is mature. Never, ever.
Do you think I support 9-year-olds getting married? Of course not. That's why I don't.
Prophet Muhammad married a 6-year-old and then had sex with her at 9.
That's not true because
it is. It's Sahih al-Bukhari 5:1.
Her age.
Well, first off,
it doesn't even mention her age.
It doesn't really mention her much at all. But in Sahih al-Bukhari 5133, it's narrated by Aisha herself. She said, "I was 6 years old when the Prophet." Yeah, go ahead, look it up.
Look it up. You don't even know it by heart. You don't even know your own religion by heart.
Can you say the verse?
Hadith. Yeah, it's a hadith. It's Sahih al-Bukhari 5133.
Wait on. Sahih al-Bukhari.
Yep.
Okay, 5133.
5133.
Okay.
I didn't read it out loud for the class.
Okay. That the Prophet married her when she was 6 years old, and he consummated.
I'm sorry. It's like I get this is the thing where I'm not the best with words either, so I'm not saying criticizing that, but it's like if I'm listening to somebody else, okay, you can't always. This is the thing where sometimes like you always are such a detractor of someone else's logic when honestly your own religion you don't even know back and forth, right? Because she's the one who's promoting her religion. Don't badmouth my religion, but yet you don't even know every part of your religion, right? And that's the problem I have with people who deem themselves religious. You don't know all the parts of your religion, and yet you can say that for people don't criticize it. You don't even know all of it. So it's like it's to fringe a level of intelligence that honestly you don't have. Okay, when someone else is trying to educate you, you're ignorant and not just taking it in, absorbing it in. That's the thing.
Not sure what that means.
Yeah, consonant means sense.
But why would they do that though? Do you support that?
Yeah, because Iraqi militia groups use civilian homes. We know this.
It was a regular civilian home. It wasn't military soldiers. It was a regular family.
Yeah, the Iraqi militia groups literally.
Okay, consummated his marriage when she was 9 years old, and then she remained with him for 9 years. An example
Until his death. Yeah.
Okay, well, obviously, I do not support children losing their virginities at such young ages, but like, I believe that times are different. I mean, he was alive during the year like 600 or something like that. So like,
yeah, times are different. Why don't you condemn your country for continuing those barbaric times?
Obviously, it's different because back then, during the Adam and Eve's ages, they had to incest to reproduce. Obviously, that's not normal, but they had to do that. So
is he the most perfect man to ever exist?
And do you think people in 2026 are going to live like how it was back then in the year 600?
No, I don't. Not. But the problem is that and according to Islam, he's the most perfect man to ever exist and ever will exist. So why are you comparing him to people of the 600s? I guess that's when he lived.
Okay, we're just believing that his ideologies are perfect. And everyone
like marrying a 6-year-old?
Okay, I don't believe
he was 51, by the way.
That's an action. That's an action. He chose to do that.
Well, your actions are part of your ideology, right? You don't do shit if you don't believe it.
The Quran allows you to marry pubescent girls.
But not everyone does that, though.
But the Quran allows it. Well, no, you can't do it because it's only meant to women. Women aren't allowed to because
I don't think
you don't have as many rights. You don't have as many rights because you're a woman. In Islam, you don't.
No, it has nothing to do with Islam. It's just culture.
In Surah 4, ayat 24, it specifically says that if a wife is disobedient,
He's literally like he literally has to quote you lines. You don't even know it. I swear to God. Why are you even people being it's like I'm not religious, right? So I cannot name you shit, right? But it's like if you don't even know you don't even know your book inside and out, why are you even religious? What's the point?
to abandon her in bed and smack her. Can a woman smack a
Wait,
man?
let me see that again.
Yeah, it's
Say it again?
Surah, I believe it's 424. Let me see.
Surah and what?
Surah, yeah, it's 434. Yeah, I do.
No way, you have the Quran?
I do.
Yeah, because he's trying to like, have knowledge about it more than you do.
I read it
Okay,
twice.
Surah and what?
Surah 4. I actually I like this girl. I feel bad for you, but I think you're actually really nice.
Why do you
434.
feel bad for me?
That you barely know your religion. You don't know. I mean, like you don't even know a country that To be honest, I'm assuming you've not been born in. I mean, I'm assuming it, right? But you don't even know a country that you probably barely know of.
I think you're a good person, and you don't know that Islam doesn't have the values.
I'm just not
that I think you
100%
have.
educated about it. I should educate myself. I want to finish the Quran one day. I'm just not 100% educated.
Inshallah.
You want to finish the Quran one day. You are Muslim. Here's a man that's not Muslim and has read it twice. Why don't you just say you're fucking lazy? Just say that. You are a shitty Muslim when someone who's not Muslim has read the book twice when you couldn't even finish the book.
Inshallah.
I'm sorry, I'm
Anyways,
supposed to say it the way you said it last time. Inshallah. Surah 4. Surah 4, ayat 34.
Surah 4, ayat 34?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I can't read Arabic. I'm gonna read it in English. You
Yeah,
have the English Quran?
Yeah, mine's in English. I can't read Arabic either.
Okay. Men are the caretakers of women. Okay, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do.
So do I. So men are the characters of women, as men have been provisioned by Allah over women and tasked with supporting them financially. That's true. Yeah, that's a good thing to say. And righteous women are devoutly obedient and when alone protective of what Allah has entrusted them with. And if you sense ill conduct from your women, advise them first. If they persist, do not share their beds. But if they still persist, then discipline them gently. It doesn't say assault them.
What are you reading right now?
I'm reading in Surah An-Nisa 4. Oh.
What translation?
This,
So that's not what it originally says. In the Arabic, it says strike her. What do
it
you
doesn't
go to
say strike her because it just says discipline her gently. It doesn't say assault her.
It doesn't say to gently. That is.
It does. It says that right here.
No. I believe that internet website says that. I believe.
No, because this is
that's
Quran.com. They wouldn't lie on this.
Right, but
it's pretty
go to the part where it says chat here. Let me show you.
Well, you have the actual Quran. I can't.
Okay. Here's what like Muslim ideology is affecting our nation.
Until we have done everything in our power to bring the United States to its knees, let us not lose sight of the enemy. For every U.S. military base that crumbles, and for every U.S. soldier who returns home in a casket, we cheer. Hamas, Hezbollah, Allah, all of the forces we celebrate. These popular voices on the ground spend every waking moment in direct confrontation with Zionism, and they rely on a strong Iranian state to maintain their fighting capacity. Do you hate Americans? May a Hamas rocket blow up your family's home.
Terrorize this.
That's what we allow in our country, right? That's what we allow in our country. We allow these people, right, who hate America, who wish death upon Americans, who wish America is destroyed. We allow them into our country. It's amazing. It really is. That's what I love, right? That's what I love.
Muslims are not terrorists. That's a stereotype and it's false.
I don't think all
We're
Muslims are
not,
terrorists.
we're not
I
terrorists.
don't
If
think
I
all
was a
Muslims are
terrorist, would I be
terrorists.
alive right now?
I don't think all Muslims are terrorists. I never said that.
Well, you like hinted it.
No, I think most terrorists on Earth are Muslims because the GTI says so. The top 10 biggest terrorist groups in the
You
world
think
are all.
most terrorists are Muslims? In
Yeah.
Israel, the IDF, Israeli Defense Force, they are terrorists. They are terrorizing Gaza. Are they terrorists in your belief system?
No.
What the hell? What the hell? You support Israel?
Mm-hmm.
You're brainwashed.
I don't support Israel, right? I've said this. I'll say this now. I don't. I don't support any other country besides America. America first. 100%. America first. I've said this countless times before. I understand why American leadership is doing what they're doing, because they want control of the West, right? The Western Hemisphere. They want to control China and Russia, right? The oil that goes into China and Russia. They want to have control over that. I understand why American leadership is doing what they're doing. But I've said this before. I honestly believe we should focus more within our borders than we should focus outside of our borders. Now, like I said, I understand it. I understand why American leadership is doing what they're doing. So I'm not crying about it. I'm not extremely upset. I'm not loving it, but I'm not extremely upset. But again, I don't support any other country besides America, right? 100% my support goes to America. America first. So I would never say I support Israel or, I don't know, Ukraine or any country that America supports, because I believe I believe that's idiotic, right? We should be supporting Americans. We should be supporting America first. Once we are good, once we are actually at the best we could be, then yeah, we could start helping out and thinking about other countries. But before that, I don't give a shit about other countries.
Hope, may God give you
Let's
the
talk
moral
about it.
courage and strength.
Let's talk about
May
it.
God give you the moral courage and strength to start supporting Palestine, because what
What does
are
that
you
mean
talking
to you?
about?
What does that
Israel
mean
is
to you?
committing a genocide against innocent.
Okay, let's
Israel is
talk
committing
about
a
it.
genocide. Let
Let's
me finish.
talk
Let
about
me
it.
finish.
You can ramble off a bunch of things.
So
Let's
why do you
talk
support?
about it.
Why do you support a country that's committing a genocide against
I don't
innocent
believe
Palestinians
there's a
who are desperate
genocide.
for food and water?
You're starting with the proposition that I don't accept. I don't think there's a genocide. I don't think that 70,000 people killed in 3 years that includes combatants. So you're gonna let me finish?
You don't think innocent children are being murdered because they
I don't
just
think
want-
they're being.
innocent-
I don't.
They just
what-
want food and water, and the IDF are killing them. You don't believe that's happening right now? Have you not seen the
Are you
media?
gonna let me? Are you gonna,
The media. So you just like literally in her other video with the other guy, she's talking about Israel and American propaganda, and here you are saying, didn't you not see the media? So the things that you watch isn't propaganda, right? The things that you watch isn't fake. This is the part of the insanity. I've said this before. I don't care what side you are, a Democrat, a Republican, right, left, whatever. I've said this before. Never, right? Never just blindly follow what I say, blindly follow what anyone else say, right? Do not blindly follow what other people say. Question it, right? Question it. Do your own research. I have some detractors who don't believe I do it, but a lot of things I look at or I hear, right? A lot of times I try to do the research, because, and not all the time, sometimes I fail at it, right? Sometimes I fail at it, but a lot of times I've just blindly listened to what someone says. I regurgitate it and then just found out that it's not true at all. So I try my best to, if I hear something or if whatever, I try my best to look it up, right? I try my best to look it up myself and see the information, see the context around it, right? So I have a better grasp of what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, I don't care for. I'm not a religious person, right? I'm not a religious person, so I don't really. I I said, like I said, right, like I said this before, right? I'm not a religious person, but I rather America be predominantly Christian than be anything else.
Let me address it.
Are you Israeli? Is that why you're defending them?
No, I'm American and I'm not Jewish. I'm a Christian. I already told
That's
you.
why you defend them. You're American. The stereotypical Americans defend
This is why I say these people aren't Americans. Get the fuck out of my country.
Israel.
Yeah,
You're
because
probably a Trump
we're
right?
against Islamic terrorism. That's why
Oh,
we
who's
defend
we're?
Israel.
Who's we?
Americans are against Islamic terrorism.
I'm an American and I'm not against Islamic terrorism because that simply does not exist. Muslims are not.
Bro,
You're
just
back
because I'm
before.
Muslim and I support Palestine, that makes me famous.
You said that Islamic terrorism doesn't exist.
I'm an American and I'm not against Islamic terrorism because that simply does not exist. Islamic terrorism because that simply does not exist.
Islamic terrorism because that simply does not exist.
Okay, well,
You said
I
that
mean,
the Holocaust
like,
happened during the Roman Empire.
Palestine does exist.
Palestine-
Israel became later because
What
during the
was the
Roman
land-
Empire, the Jews did not where to go because they didn't know where to go because they were hated all over Europe because of the Holocaust. So then the British were like, hey,
During the
let's
Roman
give you guys-
Empire, then you left after you told me I was uneducated and ran away. No,
You don't know your
that's-
history. You're
that's
very,
not-
very uneducated.
I
How are
know
you gonna
history
debate when
way
you're
more than-
uneducated? How are you gonna debate when you're
Hold on,
uneducated? During the Roman Empire, the Jews did not where to go because
The Jews did not want to go because
bro, because I cooked.
When I thought, yeah.
Bro, because I cooked.
during the Roman Empire.
Laughing man, what is up? What is up, my brother?
What's going on, DA? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yup.
Finally, what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts?
A lot. Basically, I want to tell her if she's Sunni or Shia Muslim.
I don't know. I don't know what type of Muslim she is.
You didn't know that, did you?
No, I don't really. I mean, I'm not a religious person, so I don't really dive too deep in the religious aspect of anything. Right? I just watch how people act. That's my thing.
You got to know your enemy.
I mean, like I understand that too. Right? I understand that too. But I just, for me, it's like, you know, I don't know. I don't care a whole lot about this, whole lot about them. But I do see that there's the threat, right? I definitely do see that there's a threat.
And just to point this out, you know when they say that whole free Palestine, right? You know what? I'm not gonna even argue with them. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, free them, but give it back to the Christians because it was a Christian nation before Islam.
Really? I did not know that.
Because the first Roman, do you know the first Roman emperor to basically to accept Christianity?
No.
Constantine the Great.
Really?
He was the first one.
I did not know that.
Yep. So, yeah, most of the Middle East was Christian, and it got taken over by the Islam, the Sultan.
Really?
You can look it up.
I'm checking it out. Oh, really? That is interesting.
So
yeah.
So Christian Palestine, Christian Libya, Christian Iraq, so forth. So those are all Christian nations.
Wow. That is interesting. That is interesting.
And I'm not just on the Muslim. I'm also on the Judaism. I don't like it at all.
No, yeah, I mean, again, I've said this before. I mean, like, I'd rather my America be a Christian nation than anything else because it's gotten us where it's gotten us.
Yeah, I say they're like two sides of a coin because they're the same thing. The only difference between the Muslims, they kind of believe in their fake Jesus, they have their fake Jesus, like copycat,
Mm-hmm.
and Judaism don't believe in him at all. They believe that the Holy Mother's adulteress, and Jesus was like a sorcerer. They don't even say his name. If you tell a rabbi, they won't like they will know about him, but they won't say his name.
Interesting. Well, for me, it's like how I view like Judaism, right? Like when it comes to the Jews, at least I don't see them as aggressive, right? When it comes to their religion, as I see Islam, right? I don't see them try to spread their religion in the same way as Judaism, right? As Jews do it. So that's how I see it. Where again, I believe I've said this in the beginning, right? Where I don't mind the to practice your religion, right? It's part of the tenet of America. What I do mind is that because of your religion, you want to spread your influences forcefully, right? Or maybe even like you're trying to take over. That's my thing. Okay. I'm fine with Jews practicing their religion. I'm fine with Muslims practicing their religion. I'm fine with anyone practicing their religion. I'm not fine if because of your religion, you're trying to take over a nation, right? And we're seeing that, right? We're seeing that with the UK, just like the one video that showed all those stats. They're trying to take over, and it's just I think it's not a good thing. It definitely is not a good thing. That's why I'm a big supporter of control the immigration.
And when you say UK, basically like UK, Australia, Canada, most of Europe. I break it into stages because if you know how Muhammad rose to power, so I break it into 5 stages. So where we're at right now, I say stage 2. It's more like, like we're friends. Don't worry. You're being a Islamophobe or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But over there in UK, Canada, I call it like almost complete, like stage 4. They're like almost stage 5.
Yeah.
Because they take over they're already in government and all of that, so they're not fully taking over the government, but it's almost, so I'm saying, dangerously stage 5. Once that's complete, Sharia law
Mm-hmm.
takes over, basically like Iraq.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I definitely agree. I definitely agree that the UK is in the later stage of being taken over. I definitely agree. I just it's a dangerous road, and I hope that us America sees the danger of it and not let that happen. So I hope so. Big bars. What is up, my brother?
So with your brother, yeah,
Any thoughts for tonight?
I just want to say that I agree with everything you're saying. Now this is just me saying this from my studies, and the form of Islam that we have now is not the original form of Islam. First of all, I don't think this Arab Arab Spring form of Islam is not the original form of Islam, first of all. And people are just like brainwashed. You
Mm-hmm.
see how that girl really, she actually said in the Roman Empire, uh
Yeah.
what I can't even remember what she said, but she said basically what happened with Hitler happened in the Roman Empire. It's just like you don't even, and then it's the arrogance. It's the
Yes.
arrogance for me.
Yes.
She was so arrogant. He was sitting there trying to tell her what was going on, and she's so arrogant that she can't even accept the truth. And then she talking about you don't know your history, and she's been wrong about history the whole time.
No, I agree, and that's the thing where that's the poisoning I'm seeing, where I think it's affecting our citizens, right? I'm so I don't know. I'm not I don't know. It's like borderline angry or not, where I see our youth being poisoned by this pro-Palestine movement, by this Islamic Muslim conversion movement, and I'm like, honestly, it's just like I said in the beginning, right? A lot of these people, right? I don't know about you, right? I mean, like I'm this age where I see that a lot of particularly like I live in a majority black, black community. And when I grew up, none of these black people were either Christians or whatever. Now I'm seeing a lot of these black people convert to Islam, and I'm like, let me say this, right? You weren't that great Christians, so you converting to Islam is not changing a whole lot, right? So I just feel like it's just slowly changing people for the worse, because they're not making these people better or anything. So I think it's making a lot of them stupid, and these couple clips I was showing you, plus the other ones, it's kind of telling you that.
Yes.
And the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei that was killed. On what basis do you say that, please?
Oh, I mean, where do you really want to go down this route?
Yeah. From what I've seen on social media, he seems very polite, kind, and says very wise words of wisdom. And by this means, I'm not his supporter.
You look at the treatment of people who dare to speak out against the regime, and the fact
like Edward Snowden did and ended up in Russia.
Do you see, Kaz? Do you not understand that you can criticize both things at the same time?
Yeah.
So you've called him
like
Kaz.
Mr. Snowden.
Yeah, great.
Henry. But where is he, by the way, Henry?
Kaz, it'd be really interesting to hear you say, because you're the one who's made the point saying sticking up for the Ayatollah. You've just said the clips you saw on social media.
I'm not sticking up for him, my friend. You've made a statement to say that he was an evil man.
Yes.
How is he evil?
Because of the regime he led and the thousands of people who were killed on the streets, not just of Tehran, He led a religious theocracy. Look at the way women were treated for failing to wear a hijab. Look at the killing of Masa Amini that led to protests and yet more deaths. The idea that you can...
Yeah, but that was recently. We're talking about somebody who's been in power for how long?
Yeah, and that was in 2022. What on earth does his longevity as the Ayatollah have to do with it?
You said he's an evil...
And I've just given you my reason.
You said he was an evil man, the Ayatollah.
That's the thing I'm talking about. Like, it's... How can all this poison the minds of our citizens, right? Citizens of the West. Like, I'm flabbergasted, right?
Yeah, I agree with what you said. You said something. These people are not even good Christians, and so they're moving from a peaceful ideology to a warlike one. And they're not even good with the peaceful stuff.
Yes,
it's crazy. That's really crazy. And I want everybody who has common sense in their head to see how he acted. You know what I'm saying? That's how somebody who's losing acts.
Yeah.
You know, when somebody's trying to talk and they just won't let them talk, that's because they know they're about to drop bombs on them. They know they're about to lose.
Yep.
I want everybody with sense to see that. That's what these people do. They shame you. They want to talk about you, and then they want to overtalk you. That's what they do when they're losing. They know they're going to lose.
Iran's missiles will reply. Iran's missiles will reply. U.S. drones in the sky. U.S. drones in the sky. Iran's missiles will reply. Iran's missiles will reply. U.S. drones in the sky. U.S. drones in the sky. Iran's missiles will reply. Iran's missiles will reply. Tehran, Beirut. Tehran, Beirut. Give Americans the boot! Give Americans the boot! Tehran! Beirut! Tehran! Beirut! Street, burn the bases. Hands up, every nation. Hands up, every nation. Close the street, burn the bases. Close the street, burn the bases. Hands up, every nation. Hands up, every nation. Close the street, burn the bases. Close the street, burn the bases. Hands up, every nation. Hands up, every nation. From the belly of the beast. 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 We will honor Khomeini. We will honor Khomeini. From the United Crown. Kill another soldier.
This is the thing where I'm furious with these like you have the audacity, the entitlement to live in America, right? To live in the West, and then to spout the shit you spout, right? About America, your support for another country. This is why I'm disgusted by these people, right? This is why I'm disgusted by these people. I really am. Because you promote like these are the group, right? That would call Donald Trump a dictator, yet it's okay that you support a dictator. Literally having a picture of a dictator, right? It's the other hypocrisy I find with these people. It's absolute hypocrisy.
It's crazy how you know how that girl said there's no such thing as Islamic terrorism, which is crazy for her to say.
Exactly.
That's crazy, and that sure looks like terrorism to me.
Yes,
sure does.
I 100% agree. You know, calling bombs to America and to America, it's like, oh, you just this is what I'm saying. It's like we've
That's
given people too
war.
many freedoms. Yes,
That's war. Telling Americans to get out of America. What? Are you serious? How about you go back? How about you go back where you came from? And see, that's the problem. Like I said, when we went into this PC culture, I knew we was done. I knew we was done because America used to be like these people could not come on American streets and talk this whatever this is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they would have got booted off or locked up and some more stuff.
No, 100%. No, 100%. You talked about it before with the whole, participating trophy thing last time. It's like these are the people that, you know what, because we are being weak, and I've said this before. Feminism, right here, right? Because of feminism, because women trying to take control, like making us try to be nice, making us weak. People are taking advantage of our weakness, and I'm sorry, it's women who pretty much made this weakness.
Yes. Yep. I mean, but at the same time, you gotta blame men because we allowed it.
I do.
We allowed it. You know, they couldn't do nothing without us footing the bill.
I agree.
And we did. We financially and ideology. We supported this crap.
Yes.
Now we gotta fix it. It's not gonna be no woman to fix it because they don't care because they're benefiting. I feel,
I agree 100%. I agree. All right. This is why I love the men's space, right? Men's content, Redpill, Manosphere, where men are speaking up. Men are trying to talk about it, right? Men are not letting it slide anymore. So I love it. I saw this video and I thought it was interesting, right? I mean, like the silent Muslim takeover of Europe. I thought it was interesting.
I think I can say this as an observer and admirer in many ways, not always, but in many ways, of Britain.
Yeah.
It seems that there was a tipping point, up to a point. The many Muslims, who are 6% of the population now, and growing very, they probably now already control around 25 seats in the House of Parliament. It's likely to rise to about 45 over the next 10 or 15 years. I can see a scenario where they will literally be able to use democracy to destroy democracy.
That's what they're doing.
That's what Red Door just said, right? This is what Muslims are doing, right? They're using our weakness. They're using what makes, the West, amazing, our democracy, right? Against us. That's the danger we are facing, okay? Because we're so tolerant, because we're so we open our arms to, other people, they're suffering, all this shit. Right? They're using our kindness, they use our weakness against us, and we will suffer for it. This is why I hope that America will not, fall like how the UK is falling. I'm telling you, it's ugly.
Yeah, I don't think so because it's too many pews in America for that. You know what I'm saying? It gets bad enough. It
Yeah.
gets bad enough. You gonna see the YNs on the corner. You know what I'm
I
saying?
definitely agree. I definitely agree. I mean, like we have. This is what I'm saying. I mean, America does have more strength than the UK. I do agree, but it could be a slow process. That's why. That's why we got to watch out for it.
I agree.
And this was the strategy. You pass through the democratic processes, a set of arrangements that introduce Sharia law and destroy the basis of common law that lies at the heart.
That's what the hijra. That's what the hijra is all about. Immigration.
Right.
That's what you come to do, not to assimilate or be grateful that you're given a refuge, but in order to invade and then destroy from within.
So planned, you're saying?
Absolutely.
Not just
12 mayors out of the 13 major cities in England, one of them can't even speak English. He has to bring an interpreter.
Well, how did he get voted in?
In Brighton, I think it was the mayor of Brighton, but Luton and Brighton and Manchester and Birmingham and all these elected mayors and the school boards. And this is the two things they focused on: the school boards and the council. And they have, and you know how they started? Over 20 years ago, I had the joy of sitting with several parliamentarians in England.
See, that's the insanity of it, right? A good chunk of their officials are Muslims, and one can't even speak English. That's the insanity of it. I swear, this is what, and we're seeing it today, right? Let that Omar girl. No, I swear to God, only American-born citizens should be able to hold political positions. It is insane that you have someone that's not even born in America that's holding a position of power. That is utterly insane. And we're already seeing that Minnesota, the Omar girl and all the Somalia shit, right? These Muslims, right? The fraud that they're doing already, right? This is what I'm saying, right? It's a small thing, right? It's only one city, one state. Yeah, we may be stronger than the UK, but that's how they do it, right? They slowly take over. Okay, they put more people in power, more Muslim in power, and the problem is that they do not assimilate. Right, the Muslim population, they don't assimilate well, but that's how they do it. They're gonna fake it. They're fake it. Right, they're using our weakness against us, where we're so diverse, we're so open, right? Melting pot shit. And they're going to use that against us. Okay. And then more and more of them, right, will gain position of power. And then they will, put money that would have probably gone to minority communities, right? Money that would probably go to Americans. They're going to put it to their own people, their Muslim people, right? That's what they will do. And that's the danger. That's the possible. And we're already seeing, like I said, we're already seeing a little bit of that danger in places like, California, Minnesota. Imagine if that danger spreads to the rest of the country.
In Westminster. And I had the paper that had written by their thinker, who's now dead, named Yusuf Qaradawi. He's the basic thinker behind this whole third jihad concept. Well, we failed in the first jihad. When we got to France in the 600s, got stopped. We failed in the second jihad, 1400s. We get to Vienna, occupied Vienna, lost. And now this is the third jihad, which we take the Vatican. The Vatican is that to them is the big kahuna they have to take, or all of Europe, because it represents Europe. So they said, now we're going to do it. We're going to do the third jihad by taking over Europe, but not by the sword. We're going to do it with birth rate and investment of petrodollars. And now the Qataris own Harrods, they own Barclays Bank, and they go on and on and on. So they have.
I didn't know they own Barclays. That's a British bank. That's the thing where they're going to slowly, take over in a different way.
Yeah, they I personally think I agree with Red Door. If you are like, I don't know, I think Muslim is like we need to draw the line there. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's like people that want to be PC but bump that. We need to draw the line with there. And anybody who is in our country and saying that I'm not American, go home. Go home.
Exactly. 100%. 100%. I'm sorry. I said it already. If you're not born America, if you're not born in America, you should not be able to hold any position of power in America. 100%.
Complete. I'm not exaggerating. Hold over the economy in England, as well as the birth rate, of course, outnumbered. So I sat with us and I showed them what was written, not from me, I'm not that smart, but the brain of the third jihad movement. And they said, what we're going to do, we're going to build a spine from the top to bottom of the island of England. And once that's strong, we're going to start building ribs. And then we choke the country. Now,
It's pretty chilling.
it is. Well, they started 20 years ago. And I told them, I said, you know that these areas called no-go zone. So a person can beat up his wife or honor killing or whatever it is. Police cannot go there. It's a no-go zone for police.
It's covered by
Sharia court. Sharia court. 85 of them in England now. 85 courts.
What jurisdiction, what recognition in law, in British?
That is insane. That is insane that you can enact your own laws inside of another country. That is what I'm talking about. That's the problem I'm talking about. Right? I'm not talking about, I'm not saying, we should have no Muslims in here. I'm not talking about, you can't, practice your religion. No, I'm talking about how dare you, right, enact your own laws, right? Own laws in another country. No go zone? That should be no such thing in another country. Police officers should not, that's insane that police officers are not allowed to go into certain parts of the country. That is insane. You do not have authority in another country.
Yeah, we have to watch out for the Trojan horse. That's what's going on right now. And what gets me is that, like, did nobody pay attention? Did nobody pay attention to all these stories we were told? The Trojan horse, and this is what they're doing. They're doing Trojan horse stuff, but it's really like the same thing because the people from Troy, there was warlike, there was warmongers, and that's what these some of these Islamic people are. They're warmongers. But I still don't think. I think it's a different kind of war, and I hope Red Dawn situation. I hope we would prevail, but we gotta watch out for the Trojan horse, man. That's what they doing. They sneaking in.
Yep.
They're sneaking in, and me personally, I feel like see, America wants to prolong everything. That's the problem. To get more money. They want to prolong it to get more money out of them. And you know what? It should be you come over here and you got a year to naturalize. And if you don't, bye, go home.
I agree.
Go home, Roger. Bye, Roger.
I agree.
Yeah, do those courts have? Well, I think it's fear basically where they assign it. If you go to the court and the judge and you said, no, you have no authority over me. I'm a Muslim and I go. And he said, okay, I refer you to a Sharia court, and he sends them there. No authority, and then of course the judge in the Sharia court says, well, did you beat your wife hard? The Quran says you should only beat her lightly, and they send him home. And so this is what's happening all over England. It's beginning to happen in the States. Unfortunately for us anyway, that we're living there now, is that the state governments, like in Texas, where they want to build these cities, 400 acres, where the whole epic city is going to be built, Muslim city, be a no-go zone city. And they just woke up in time to stop it. But they were about to do the same thing in the United States. But here's back in 20 plus years ago, this dear man kind of snickered at me and said, "Oh, come on, this is Britain. Yeah, they can't do this." I said, "Look, I'm only showing you what they said they're going to do or what they are doing. It's not. I'm not creating this thing myself. I don't. Anyway, that breaks my heart every time I think about it. That they're
Insane. But here's the no go zone. This guy, right, went and pretty much checking out what he was saying about. Right, so I wanted to check it out.
Well, behind me seems like it's a bit of a peace incident. You can buy an Iranian flag. Doesn't feel like England, does it? Look at this. Islamic Sharia Council of London. Yes.
Unbelievable, right? Unbelievable. You can say that shit in public. This is what I'm saying. The weakness of a country, other countries, other people will take advantage of that shit. That's why, that's why America needs to wake up. I mean, I heard that, right, when the other guy said that in Texas, Muslim groups were trying to build their own city. And they were close to it, right? They were close to making it happen, but suddenly or thankfully, Texas woke up to it and did not allow that happen. But they just, if you just like, get slow on the uptake, or you're weak on it, you allow shit to happen, it's gonna F us up.
I think I say this all the time. If you if feminism cared about women, they wouldn't be allowing this stuff to go down.
Exactly.
If the government really cared about its population, it wouldn't be letting this stuff go down. So it's to the point where we as a people, we had to wake up and be like, hold up, why are these people who went to Yale and Harvard not smart enough to combat this stuff? And we're voting them in. That's the problem, man.
Exactly.
They're voting these people in, and they're bought and sold from the jump, man. That's what I feel about these people. They bought and sold. Half of these people probably in the pocket of Islamic people. Being honest.
No. I agree. I mean, like you think about this, the Minnesota stuff, right? I'm pretty sure they're in the pockets of the Somalis, right? They're in the pockets, right? They're they're wedding each other, right? They're paying each other off with our guess with what? Our taxpayer money. This is why I hate this shit. Right?
And we can't get our roads fixed. You know what I'm saying? We got all this homelessness. We got all this homelessness going on, but the Israel Palestine thing is the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. When we got homeless people over here on the streets, you were sending hundreds of $millions over there. What is wrong with us? What is wrong with us? Come on.
I hate it that we sent like I think millions, hundreds of millions to Ukraine. No, fuck that shit. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't care if Russia takes it over. Who cares? Because I will believe this. America is not going to be scared of nobody.
No.
So it doesn't matter if Russia takes over the Ukraine. We're not going to be scared of anyone. So all that money was wasted in a country that, doesn't benefit us at all.
They hate us for low key. I mean, people ain't go back to the space race. People better smarten up, man. That's all I'm saying. And it kind of floors me because the information is out here. If you smart enough to put two and two together, like these people, these people hate us low key. And to all the people who are working for them, with them, and the USSR, when it was the USSR, they had all these people snitching on people, and then when they got all the people in the concentration camps that they wanted to get in there, then they turned on the people who were snitching, because they was like, if you gonna snitch on your own people, why would I trust you?
Yeah.
Period.
Have a good day. Yeah, take care, mate. Wherever I walked into. Good day, my friend. Thank you. Interesting to see the different sort of laws depending on what part of the city you're in. Did you know some boroughs of London have been declared Islamic no-go zones, or at least is what people say? In Newham, the white British population is about 14%, making it the most ethnically diverse area in London. In Newham, the majority ethnicity is actually Bangladeshi, not English. Sharia law councils are even set up across London, although it's not exactly what you think. Today, I decided to explore London's so-called no-go zones for myself to see, is Sharia law really being implemented here? And is it true that it's dangerous? Will I be welcome as a white person? Join me as we find firsthand the truth. Good morning, everyone, from London. Today we're in Leighton, and something caught my eye here. Allegedly, in London, there's over 85 Sharia law councils in the entire city, and it's growing day by day, or that's what the media likes to say at least. Today we're going to find out if that's actually true. It's kind of mad when you see the headlines, right? Like Sharia law in the UK, that sounds like a right-wing tabloid thing. Surely that can't be true. And the answer is yes and no. It kind of is true, but it's not what you think. So this is what the research has done, which I'll tell you about while we're walking there. So it's not legally binding. You can't just enforce Sharia law. Like the UK law still is on top. However, in practice, maybe it's slightly different. It's what I mean by that. In Islamic culture, if you want to get a divorce, this is the number one reason why women use these Sharia law councils more than men, is to get divorced from their husband, right? But in order to do that, you have to go through not only civil law, but you have to go through a religious court as well. And that's the primary reason of these Sharia laws courts in the UK. There's a few other bits and bobs that it does do as well. And whether the conspiracies are true, whether they're enforcing is like,
I don't get it. Why couldn't you get divorce, through the UK law? That sounds weird to me.
law or not, I don't know. But at least if you're a Muslim and you're going there, this is what you do. This is what you do. It's totally voluntary. They're not necessarily forcing it. I was reading some of the reviews of this place as well, and it's absolutely, well, I wouldn't even say if it's hilarious or depressing or what. But
It's my thing is like I don't mind communities, helping out each other, whatever. It's just that it's like sometimes I find like just like I said about the divorce thing. It's just weird that you would go through your, but I guess they don't. I guess when it comes to Muslim marriages, I guess they don't have legal papers, maybe. So it's not an actual certified marriage. So maybe that's why they go through Sharia court. I'm guessing. I'm assuming. So
Why do we have the courts here? That's why I don't understand. Why we have the courts here? If them people want Sharia court systems, they have that over there. They go home and do that.
Exactly. That's my thing where, these aren't people that, were born in America or born in the UK or whatever, and then, just have a community. No, these people they have a country that have Sharia law, that has all this already, but they chose to not stay in these countries, right? They chose to not stay in these nations to go into other countries and then push their ideologies in that country. I'm just like, you could stay in your original country and still have all the things you're having, right? The Sharia law stuff. So I don't know. I just find it weird.
This is why I say it's because they destroyed their own country with their being. That's what we need to understand. They destroyed their country. They destroyed it. I don't know if you remember 15 years ago, Mecca and all these other countries were better off than they are now. But they destroyed their way of being, their Sharia laws, their way of being destroyed the way they treat their women. All this stuff destroyed their company. It destroyed their own country. Now they're gonna come over here and try to destroy ours.
I agree. I definitely agree that they didn't improve their country. They didn't make their countries better. So why would all your beliefs, your culture, your religion, which didn't improve your countries that you come from, and then bring it over to other countries and thinking that it's helping us? No, it's not. It's actually making it worse.
It is. It's making it way worse. And that's the thing. And I don't think you want these people to get any more power.
Yeah,
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I don't know. It's going to get real. I think we're at the beginning of the end. Sadly, of our way of being, a way of thinking. Because this this Sharia law stuff is crazy. And if anybody takes 5 minutes to look into that, there ain't nothing nice about Islam actually. Modern day, ain't nothing nice about it. Ain't nothing nice about it. It's not like, see, I think people think that it's like Christianity, and it's not. You know what I'm saying? It's not. Christianity is a puppy dog compared to the Rockwaller.
I agree with that.
It's basically, do not waste your money and your time there, and go through a big old paragraph. I'll put it on the screen for you guys just so you can see it. And the guys replied, and maybe not in the most professional way. He said, Samba, you were the only volunteer who was incapable of turning on a computer. And then basically went to insult her for ages. Like, what the hell? Is this official? Is this not official? I have no idea. But clearly, it's down this road. It's got to be. I looked at it, some guy's house. But which house is it? I mean, it doesn't exactly stick out. This is really beautiful as well. You've got a lovely Gurdwara for the Sikh people here. You've got the Sikh symbol up there. But across the road, this is what catches your eye. Or should I say, it doesn't catch your eyes. It's language. Sharia Council of London. And it's not the only one. Apparently, there's 85 of them. But yeah, there you can see it in the flesh. It is pretty much just some guy's house. But it is just weird to see the rumours and that it is actually a true thing. For better or worse, you tell me. I would have absolutely loved to go in there and just see what it's like, what the ins and outs are, because I'm pretty naive. Like, I don't really know too much about it, right? There's rumours and then there's the truth. And somewhere in between is the real truth, right? I asked him, I did email, I've asked for a statement. He hasn't gotten back to me first. I said, can I have a statement about what's going on, what the ins and outs are? And could I possibly go in and have a little look? I haven't had a single reply. So if there is a statement, I'll put it up now. If there isn't a statement, I just got aired, basically, then you'll see nothing and we'll move on to Brick Lane. In that case, we'll go to Bangla Road now, as they call it, or Brick Lane. It's the largest Bangladeshi population in the entirety of the UK. The main language there is Bengali, not English. It'll be very interesting to see what life is like there, as well as London's biggest mosque and a few other bits and bobs I can't wait to show you. Let's go to that area and let's check it out. How bad can it be, as they say? Well, you know you're in a safe area when your taxi station has 2 layers of protection. You've got the outer walls and then the inner walls with the metal there and everything. I'm sure it's very safe, very low crime. Train station toilets in the UK.
God damn.
Absolutely. I don't even know how to use it. Well, behind me, it seems like to get a police incident. I can't see any police officers or anybody, but there's something going on down there. We're in Whitechapel. We're going to check it out, see what there is there. Super busy here. Look at this. So many people. All sorts going on here. There's a shop, a market, a little bit of everything. Let's go and check it out. It does remind me of the Ezra Road Market. Semi gives me PTSD. But yeah, you can buy pretty much everything there. It's the same story in like so many different markets. Local clothing, all of that good stuff as well. And occasionally you will find actual good food stands, which will do like the most insane food you've ever had, right? Look at these. You've got like falafel stands, gyros wraps, a bit of everything, falafels. Yeah, so much high energy here. I like it. There's even a shawarma. Syrian shawarma as well. Now, if you know anything about food, you know Middle Eastern food is basically the best food on the planet. That's the one good thing about London is there's so many different food here. You can try pretty much any country's food on the planet Earth, which is pretty cool. Check it out over here. You've got sweets as well. There's all sorts like samosas, Punjabi samosas by the look of it. All sorts of sweets. Hello, mate. You alright? Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. All sorts. I think there's more. I think this entire row of shops actually is sort of like Bangladeshi sweet shops. Now, I think I've had them once before when we were in the Punjab area, although it would differentiate a little bit because obviously, well, Sikh versus Muslim, and maybe the ingredients are slightly different, but it's very interesting. You've got sort of Bengali, I believe they speak. I'm not entirely sure. Let's check it out. I do stick out a little bit here.
Stevenson, what is up? What is up?
I don't know. People are staring at me wondering why some random like Aryan dudes walking around with a camera. But it's for good reason. Because to be honest, I'm probably going to get a falafel for lunch because I just found a monster on the train over here, and monsters just, I don't know if this happens to you guys, but like coffees and peas, stuff like that. So yeah, I can understand why it's kind of busy here, but this is like crowded compared to Leighton. I know Leighton's quite out of it, but here, very busy. Look at that, it's like keeps going forever. This is even like bracelets and stuff. I don't know anything about any of this, but it does look very beautiful, isn't it? Here, the meat's there, it's just sort of all jumbled up in one place. There's all sorts, yeah. Very interesting.
I was thinking I don't know. I mean, it's okay that, like I said, express your, practice your religion how you want. But it is, in my personal opinion, right? Like I said, growing up, how old I am, growing up a country where you've seen like so many women, right, in burqas. I mean, I'm all for modesty, right? I'm all for modesty. But it's like, it's just a degree that's a little bit too high for me, where all you see is like little eye slits, and it's like, okay, there's modesty, and there's just like you're just being a ninja, which is just, I don't know. I just find it I don't know. I just find it a little bit weird, in my opinion.
It's trying to show you that it's no middle ground. It's either you gotta be walking down the street with your cheeks out, or you gotta have eyes that's only your eyes are showing. They're not showing the regular, the old school teacher outfit, the look. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The longer skirt. I mean, not even that. Just like in the 70s, in the 60s, in the
Uh-huh.
70s,
Mm-hmm.
professional looking. They did look attractive, but they were
Yeah.
professional looking. Nowadays, you got these girls walking down the street with their cheeks out. Craziness, man.
Yes, I definitely agree. I definitely, that's why there's a middle ground, right? But it's like, it's like it's always extremes, right? It's either you're like almost naked, or you're wearing a burqa. It's like, why you can't just find a middle ground?
Red Door said that. Roy just said that it will not end until Islam is defeated intellectually, financially, and
I agree.
uh
Politically.
politically.
Yeah.
I agree with that statement. Intellectually is more is able to happen, but
Yeah.
financially and politically, it's going to be the problem.
That's
People need to stop it. People people want to hate on Trump, but at least he's American.
Yes,
At
100%.
least he's American. I will say that right now. People will give me crap for saying that, but I'll
Mhm.
say at least he's American.
Agree. I agree. I agree. And this is the thing where it's like it's like the financial thing is like taxpayer money. It's not like just, you know, uh secretly going to his pockets, which I believe, with Islamic, like Somalis thing, I think taxpayer money is secretly going into their pockets.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I'm actually shocked at how far this place goes. I don't know how many people there are. There's so many people. This is really cool. You can literally order chop potty. I just want to go to Bangladesh and try all the food for myself. I don't know. These are sort of first gen people. This is crazy. $7,000 per week, maybe. But on Fridays, which is the major prayer time for Muslims, you get about 7,000 people plus per day, which is jaw dropping. Per week, apparently, it's over 35,000. Now, obviously, London has a population of 11 million, thereabouts, so it will have a decent amount of footfall. But it's not the only mosque in London. I don't know how many mosques there are in London, but I can imagine there's more than 100, So to have over 35,000 people here, I think it really shows that, yes, you're in the UK, but you're not in the same regard. As you can see, to be fair, completely not being, opinionated or anything, but the food is pretty good. I love biryani, I love masala chai, and I like lassi. Very good food. Look at this, guys. I've never seen so many pigeons in such a small area. Thank you, friend. How are you? Do you mind if I film your shop? It's okay? Yeah? Could I try one of your sweets? You can pick which one, whichever one is best. Good conversation with him. He was the nicest guy going, and I tried the food and I bloody lost the footage for it. I don't know why GoPro just keeps uploading my footage in a weird way, and I just lose the footage every time. Anyway, without further ado, let's give it a go. Some sort of pistachios on it. Let's try it out. I say a lot of people are from Bangladesh. You'll find everything's owned by Bangladesh as well. You've even got British Bangladesh travel groups, which is pretty cool as well. You get a Bangladeshi haircut, all sorts of things. And yeah, I would say for the most part, it does feel like you're in a different country. I'm not saying it's good or bad, just say it's what I've seen.
I'll say that's bad, right? When you're living in your own country and it feels like you're in a different country, it is honestly a bad thing, right? And I agree, right? Islam is taking over Europe, and you're seeing that, right? Like they're saying it, right? The white population, which was the predominant population, it's shrinking while other people are growing. And again, I said this, it's their fault, right? They allowed this to happen, so no one to blame but themselves. And But this is why I believe that there's importance for Americans to watch this or to understand these possible things that happen, right? Watching the UK, we do not want this to happen to America, period. Right? That's how I see it.
And no disrespect to him, but he's like aloof. He's like dog, what are you talking? Number one, what are you talking about? Number two, what are you talking about? Are you a food channel or are you talking about Islam or what? What's going on? You know?
I didn't see this video, so I was expecting a little bit something different. But he's glazing, other cultures
Yeah, he's
way too
glazing.
much. I thought he was going to really talk about, the Sharia law, no-go zone, but he's just he's eating or reviewing, the other cultures. Like, okay, come on.
Not allowed to have opinions as a YouTuber. If I say this is bad, for example, like next door, I'll get my bloody head chopped off, so I'm not allowed to say it. So when I get comments saying, "Oh, you're clearly a lefty in disguise," I don't want to bloody hear it. So anyone who knows me knows I'm not one. Not saying right wing. Not allowed to say that. Okay, now we're in the heart of Bangla town. We're in the main bit of Brick Lane, of course. Now you've probably heard of this one.
That's one thing that you said before in the other stream. I do hate this shit, right? Just stand on your words, right? If you're, you don't have to like say you're right or left, but like don't get scared. Like I said this, bro. I don't mind saying what the shit I want to say because I don't care about comments. I don't care about people saying you're a Trump lover or you're conservative or you're a racist or you're whatever. No, I have my opinions, right? I don't give a shit what you think, right? I mean, so I'll stick with my words.
And that's the thing, like in the 60s and the 70s, that's what people don't understand about the breakdown of the family structure. Number one, the Islamic people, they have family structure. They're going to keep their families together. So that's something we need to watch out for with all our PC welfare queen culture stuff that's going on. You know what I'm saying? I think that the people in power need to they have to choose their money or the country. Period. Choose the money or the country. That's it.
I agree.
There's actually one or two things to do here that I can show you. But yeah, there is more modern shops here. Once again, to be fair for London, in the last few videos we've done here, there's been trash everywhere. It's been a bit of a shithole, to be honest. But here, there's actually no litter, which is pretty surprising. Like, yes, the wall is kind of trash with graffiti, and as per usual, I could go on about the skyscrapers in the background. But if you watched any of my old videos, we've said that a million times. I want to show you new content each time. But yeah, I mean, it's not. Why is there toilet roll on the floor? What the hell? But yeah, obviously you've got some old kind of hellhole stuff basically on that side. But you've also got the gentrification like that pub. I briefly sort of popped my head in there. And yeah, mega modern. So Brick Lane's obviously getting a lot more investment than other parts of London. It does feel fairly decent here, to be fair. And judging by, I didn't know this existed. What the hell's that? Hang on a minute. There's a bloody gate like Chinatown.
Yeah, that is true. The UK is like they're so PC with their words. You definitely do need to watch out what you say if you live in the UK because they will arrest you, which is another insanity, right? If you say something like you hurt someone's feeling in the UK, they will arrest you for that shit. That is why the UK is a hellhole, right? It is a shithole. How dare you? Yes. And that's the thing. That's the insanity, right? And that's another thing where, as Americans, we have to watch out for. To get arrested if you hurt other people's feelings, that is insane to me.
So maybe we're not in Brick Lane. Maybe this was.
First, we used to be a strong.
I agree. Yeah.
Now we're a bunch of, and I don't get it personally.
Yes.
I don't get it.
I've said this before. I blame feminism. I always everything leads back to the feminism fault. Everything.
Oh yeah, yes.
They're the root of all
a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. They're the root of evil.
No, we must be Brick Lane. That's his Brick Lane. As you can see, I don't know what I'm doing. But the signs. Let me show you this. Actually, this is pretty cool. So you've got this big old sort of entry thing, very similar. To be fair, it's not as impressive, is it? But when you go inside there, just like Chinatown. It's pretty cool. And you can see the exchanges as well. Angletown Arch. Let's do it. No bloody way are they selling Iranian flags. That's surely not. Hang on a minute. So you can say there's these weird sort of like houses up there, which are quite cool. Yeah, you can buy your Palestine flags. You can buy an Iranian flag. You can buy an Iranian flag. That's pretty interesting. Don't get that in well, surely anywhere else on the planet. Iranian flag. I mean, I don't think the average Iranian person being persecuted by the government would necessarily appreciate something thing, a caliphate government, but you know, who am I to say? You know, who am I to say? Long story short, though, I don't think it's too bad of an area. Like, it does feel a little bit rough here and there on the outskirts, and that Leighton place did have that weird sort of council thing, but nonetheless, it doesn't necessarily feel like, you know, you're going to get stabbed, as they say. It's like, oh, it's a no-go. It certainly feels really safe. As I say, we've spoken to loads of locals here, and everyone's actually super friendly. So, yeah, kind of debunked it, to be honest. Like, I mean, we'll do another video into Newham and just see how we get on there. Maybe it'll be slightly different. I don't know. I've heard Ilford and East Tamra a little bit dodgy, but here, there's even like Italian biryani pizzerias. So it's a bit of multiculturalism there. That you've got like fish and chips and chicken mandi. So to be honest, I've never actually heard of literally in the same restaurant. So yeah, interesting artwork as well up there. Here we have the Mosque of Brick Lane. Now, obviously, well, maybe not obviously, because some people don't know, there are separate women's entrances to the men's. But women, we go through here. The men go around the other side, and they come in through that way. So, yeah, interesting to see the different sort of laws depending on what part of the city you're in. Yeah, once again, it's busy. It's not as busy as like the other place we were just in, despite this being the touristy place. And to be honest, like the demographic here is way more mixed in comparison. And there's obviously like tourist stuff. Like, let me show you this actually. There's obviously tourists here because you've got sort of these, you know, normal shops like selling rugs and stuff, but you've got this, which is pretty good marketing. It's also a state agent, but they've just got a and fun fact, many Indian restaurants that you may see, you think, oh, they're owned by Indian people, but they're actually owned by Bangladeshi people. So going here, you can actually get some real Bangladeshi food and not just your standard sort of Indian food, really. It's be touristy, so you'll get food from like Ethiopia. You've got all sorts of food, really. Hi, brother, you okay? Oh, I'd love to, mate. Thank you. I will tell everyone to go to your shop in return. Very good. Oh, black pepper. Lovely. And what's the name of your shop, sir? Have a good day. Bye-bye. Hi, mate. In a second, I need to chew. Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot. Oh, there's even mango sticky rice. Oh, my God.
I don't know if he debunked anything. I mean, I don't know. He didn't really dig that deep. I mean, he said like there's 85 Sharia law courts. He went to one and that's it, or he went past one and that's it. So this was kind of a stupid video. I kind of thought there would be more. So that's what's shitty.
Yeah, but like you said, it's hard when you can't say nothing. That's why I don't think I would last too much there, because it's like I was raised off of the truth is the truth and a lie is a lie. You know what I'm saying? I was raised off of that, and it's like it's in me. I can't help it. There's times that I wish I could just shut up. Honestly, I wish I could just let people think whatever they want to think. But it gets to a point where enough BS is thrown around that I'm gonna have to set the record straight. You know, that's just what I feel like my duty is. Like I said, I go off of duty, honor, and respect. That's what I hinge my life on. And if you can't stand on what's true, like you're delusional. You're living in a fantasy world. And is that what they want us to do? They want us to be in a fantasy world so they can tax us into oblivion? This seems like what's going on. Like I said, these people have to choose the money or the country that possibly their life. That's what they have to choose. Their lives or money. That's their choice. Crazy.
I agree. Here, let's check out this other video I have. Let's check this out.
If I want to kill you and behead you, unless you convert to the religion I dictate, what would be the place of compromise?
Well, I would not mind converting, as I myself am an agnostic, so I have no faith. I have no thanks for your time here at the University of Austin. What I wanted to ask you was, I would like to reiterate the thanks for your time here at the University of Austin. What I wanted to ask you was, you speak of Islamophobia and classes like Black Studies as phony ideological things, but I was curious as to what makes them different. What makes white supremacy different, or like Islamophobia so different from anti-Semitism, as there, we did import many African slaves that died in the millions, and so did South American countries even more so. We did force Native Americans on forced marches and genocide. There are Muslims being massacred in China today. So what makes anti-Semitism so different?
Two things. One is we have reckoned in America and in Western European countries, we've had a great reckoning with our past. We've addressed the fact that we engaged in slavery, we fought a war, we ended it. We had segregation, we had another major fight, we ended it. We had the civil rights movement. We brought women out of, and by the way, in fighting for all of those emancipations, the people who were heading these fights were constantly quoting from the Bible. They were believing Christians and they were inspired by their Christianity. So number one, we had that reckoning. Number two, anti-Semitism is the oldest hatred in humanity, and you find it, believe it or not, across the entire world. What made the West different after they nearly exterminated their Jews was to have that honest look in the mirror and reckon with what they did. And then those campaigns to end it. Islamophobia is a made-up word. It's made up by a political movement that wants to exploit and capitalize on white guilt to achieve its end goal, which is the revival of the caliphate. And the revival of the caliphate is...
And then, I think that's our weakness right now, right? We have white people feeling guilty for the past, which I'm not saying the past isn't bad, right? America has an ugly past, but we have to think that America constantly are trying to fix their past, right? I mean, we had, civil rights movement. We had, our Civil War. We have many things that, shows you that America wants to evolve. They're trying to evolve. They're constantly trying to evolve. But yet, keep on having the white guilt, okay? It's showing us that this is how people, right? This is how these minority groups, this is how Muslim groups, whatever, all these kind of groups, how they are able to attack Western countries because they see the weakness, right? Since you feel guilty, okay, let me take advantage of you. Let me take advantage of you and, get political power, right? Get financial power. And that's the danger. I said this, like, I don't need your white guilt, right? I don't need it. It doesn't help me. It doesn't do nothing, right? Just live your life. Like, because I said today, right? Today, we are free. We are more free than ever before. I don't need you to feel guilty, right? Because we have the freedoms we have. I have the opportunities I have. No one is stopping me to have the best life I can have. So your white guilt does not help anyone, but it only helps the criminals. It only helps the people who are trying to take advantage of America.
Yeah, it only hurts like people like her. Why don't you go to Islam and why don't you go to Mecca and get your reform there?
Yeah,
and it's like I say all the time. These people, I lost it. So my bad. I lost it. What I was thinking.
It's fine.
To convert all of us into Islam, whether we like it or not. Those of us who refuse to do that, we will surely be beheaded. I'm sure I'm on top. And that is their end goal. And so they're exploiting these Western part of subversion. This is just a guest speech, but I wish that at some point someone here could start a lecture series on subversion, on active measures, on asymmetric warfare, that would get you interested in what it is that the Islamists are doing and how they've become so successful against these great nations with this incredible military and economic structures, and yet the Islamists are winning. Islam is spreading. They're doing better today than they were doing in 2001 after they hit us and we invaded Afghanistan. They've got Afghanistan back. They have Iraq back. They have Syria. And these Muslim governments are they're shaking in their boots. They're worried about what could happen to them because of the Islamist movement, and that's why the Islamist movement came here. And they're exploiting principles like freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, and so on. And of course, these progressive movements that we have here, we've got to understand that, and we've got to become really creative in finding a way of preserving our principles. I don't want to give up on the freedom of speech, but on the other hand, on beating the Islamists at their game.
Is there room for compromise between principles?
If I want to kill you and behead you, unless you convert to the religion I dictate, what would be the place of compromise?
Well, I would not mind converting, as I myself am an agnostic, so I have no faith. I have no established faith.
So your compromise is just listening to some other. That's not a compromise. You're just bending.
I'm weak. I'm not willing to fight for nothing, and I'm just going to do what I got to do to live.
Yes, yes, exactly.
That must be the dumbest. Because I'm an agnostic, I would not mind converting. You know what it means? You know what it entails? I don't think a person like you, young kid from us,
thought for a while.
People would not share that vision. So
let's play with this thought for a while. There's a time and a place for everything. And for some of the people, say in places like Africa, we don't talk about this, but Islamists are active in Africa and violently so. If you're a Christian in Egypt or a Hindu in parts of Pakistan, and you have someone looking at you and saying, you'll either lose your head or you convert to Islam, it makes sense to consider converting to Islam. But here today, for us to have the attitude of, well, we'll see what happens, and if we get to that point, I'll just convert, I will say, are you sure? Maybe you want to get educated on what would happen once you convert. What would your life be like, and the life of your sisters and women? What would they do to the Jews? He has said, this man, I repeat it, he said they're bacteria and they're microbes. And in the video that I showed you, they made it very clear it has nothing to do with Palestine. It has everything to do with them being Jewish. So they are going to annihilate the Jews. Will you stand by and watch that? Maybe I should give Introduction to Islam and Islamism as a lecture series. And once you understand what it's all about, you might develop a backbone.
And that's the problem with modern day Americans, right? You've been saying it too. This is the problem with modern day Americans, modern day people in the West, in the UK, in Canada, whatever. They have no backbone. I'm sorry. At least Trump is showing that we should have a backbone, right? At least. And I at the very least, like I said, I don't agree with Trump's foreign plans, right? Because I believe that we should care about America first, but at least he's showing that America should and has a backbone. We have this young ass kid, literally is a pussy, right?
Yes.
It's like no backbone at all. It's like, okay, I'm gonna convert. Are you kidding me? This is why he needs to be drafted. He needs to be drafted. Yes. He needs to be going to the army. Because seriously, what a weak ass man. This is the future of our generation, right? This is the future of our country. These kids that we see like in these pro-Palestine protesters, all these the leftists. You see the leftist kids, they are so freaking weak. They have no backbone. They would not survive. Like, send them to the military. I'm all for the draft now, right? Draft these kids because these kids are weak as shit.
And she posed a question very good, I think.
Yeah.
She's like, what if I'm like convert or die, or you know what I'm saying? What if I'm going to behead you? And his answer was like, no backbone. If she would ask me that question, I would be like, okay, well, it's I got 5 guys around me that ain't gonna let me get decapitated. So what we gonna do now? And I'm still a whatever. I'm still a Christian. And
Yeah,
people need to look into Grenada, how they told them it was like in reverse. the Christians were telling the Islamic people that either you convert or you get exiled or you perish.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's what that's what they was told. That's how, in a way, like you said, it's like we have such a bad. That's why you don't do. That's why I was taught you don't do bad. That's why I was taught you do good, because you do dirt, you get dirt.
Uh-huh.
You do dirt, you get dirt.
I would look forward to that greatly. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Theo already started my question.
Hold on just 1 second. This kid needs to understand something. If you decide to convert to Islam under Sharia law, and then you decide to leave Islam, even if you were drunk, then it isn't because you did capital punishment.
By what Jesus says in the Sermon on the Mount about blessed are the peacemakers. So we see in human nature a desire to scapegoat, right? And you're arguing that the Jews are being there's a movement, or there's something that is trying to present Jews as the scapegoat, right? You talk about two important forces. Maybe the Islam nation state, which is like a political power, which is a threat, but then also this, like you talk about this network, like mosques all over the place, and these communities and all, it's infiltrating America and the West. So if we don't want to fall into our natural tendency to scapegoat and just become, and instead of moving from anti-Semitism to anti-Islamicism, and our goal is to be peacemakers, then how do we do that? But at the end of your last question, you framed it as a violent struggle, right? If it's a violent struggle, then who is our enemies and what do we do?
Right after 9/11, you were probably not born. How old were you on 9/11?
I was born in 2004.
2004, so before you, right after 9/11, 2001, when we were having these discussions about how to treat this enemy that wasn't a state, but that was determined to destroy us. Some of the discussions were, we can't do this because of the Constitution. We can't do that because of the Constitution. We can't do this. And a very frustrated judge or Justice Posner said, the Constitution is not a suicide pact. So I don't think there's a lot of space between committing suicide and doing what the young man here said, is to let it just all happen. And I mean, when the time comes, I guess we will convert or we'll deal with it, whatever. And really looking at and studying openly, which we haven't been able to do because we've been self-censoring.
I've said this, right? We got to stay strong, right? We should control our immigration. We should only allow the best or the most qualified, or whatever, the financially best or whatever, to actually immigrate into our country. We shouldn't let the worst come into our country. Okay, we shouldn't let the people who doesn't want to assimilate come into our country. We shouldn't let the ones that want to. I swear, if anyone, right, who's not born in our country and have the audacity to say that hate to America, death to America, any of the BS that you hear against America, pack up your shit and go. Right? That's what, like, we need to show force. Make America strong, right? America needs to show their strength. We should not be allowing, people to disrespect America, people to take advantage of America.
Yeah. I just wonder what happened to the younger generations, because we wasn't like that when we were young. We weren't like that. We weren't that arrogant to think that our small way of, I mean, we might have thought we knew everything in a certain. We wasn't that arrogant to think, thousands of years of don't matter. How I think matters. That's crazy. That's crazy work to me. I think that's part of the evil of feminism. You have to get people to believe this crap. You have to get people to believe that we're equal. We have to get people to be soft and malleable to even accept this program, and it is really false. It's just false on any. I say this all the time. I think feminism is against God and country. You know what I'm saying? Because in the book it says, I'm like you. I say this. I'm not religious at all, but I know the book inside and out. That's one thing. My grandmother raised me to know that book, and you can't you can't be soft, That's what they say in the book. Spare the rod. They say don't spread the rod on the child. Basically, if you want a good child, don't spread the rod. You gotta discipline them. You know, and sadly, we lost that. You know, and it's too many young. I personally think that it's too many grandmothers that are 40, 50 years old. There's too many mothers that are 15 years old now. And they don't know nothing. They know nothing. They have nothing to give their children. And that's the problem. These young people are punks just like their mothers were. Sorry.
No.
And they're weak.
Cowboy, what is up? What is up? What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts, my brother?
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you guys hear me?
I could.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you guys could hear me. I was trying to speak a second ago. Okay. Well, okay. It sounds like you can hear me now. Yeah, this is a very fascinating topic. It's becoming more important with every passing year. I don't claim to know what the answer is, but I think, I'm sorry to say this, it probably will not be peaceful. And I don't want to say that. In fact, I want to say the opposite. It's just that if you look at history, and I think history can be a very good tool, it doesn't matter what direction. So talking about Islam for a second, it seems like whatever direction Islam goes, you know, right now we're talking about Islam moving into the West, there tends to be violence, frankly. But if you want to look at the other way instead of the West, look at what Islam has been doing for many, many centuries prior to the East. Look at Islam in China. Look at Islam in India. I mean, you could talk about, you know, Islam in India for hours. In the end, what happened? The Indians or the Hindus and the Muslims, they fought to the point where they had to separate, right? You guys know about the creation of Pakistan and you know, the partition and all that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, look at how the Buddhists, the Buddhists do not like. It seems to me, wherever Islam goes, it tries to take over.
Yep.
That is not nice to say. That is not nice to say, but it's true. And either you roll over and they take over, or you fight and you win.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't claim to know what the answer is. I think America has a much better chance than any other nation. But, you know, from what I'm seeing, especially in Western Europe, right now the strategy is to just placate. And I think long term that's going to be disastrous.
I agree. I mean, we're seeing that, right? There's and most of Western countries, right? Violence, period, and violence against women has gone down. But because of the surge of immigration, surge of, you know, Muslims going into these countries, actually violence, period, and violence towards women has gone up. And you're seeing the changes. And you're right. The placating, the, you know, wanting the surge of Muslim immigration, because let's be honest, Muslims know our weak points. This is why Muslims are voting predominantly, you know, Democrat or liberal or whatever, and this is why these politicians want these people in there, because they will be voted in. So I'm just like I think California is doing it, where they're trying to, you know, I don't know if any of you guys know about like this Nick Shirley thing, right? Nick Shirley Act, where you cannot film any immigrants, right? Which is usually, you know, the Somalian or whatever types of immigrants. Yeah, you cannot film them. You cannot show if they do anything fraud or whatever, because they know their voter base, right? These Democrats, the liberals, you know, liberal parties, whatever, they know their party. So they want to keep these people here so they can get these votes. This is why I believe why a lot of Democrats during so many years, they allow, you know, immigrants or illegal immigrants in, because they know what their voter base would be. That's how they gain power.
Okay. What I would say, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say that you're correct. In modern times and in ancient times, everywhere Islam went, it was met with opposition. Everywhere, it was a war for everywhere that Islam went. In the beginning, it was war, and that's what I think people need to see. People need to know their history because if you don't know your past, you don't know where you're going. Period.
Go ahead, Cowboy.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. What were we talking about right before that? I forgot.
Well, I'm just talking about like it's true that if we're placating, if we're allowing this stuff to happen, we don't see that there's a problem.
Oh yeah, I remember now. Okay, I'm sorry. You were talking about Nick Shirley. No, first off, I have not heard of that. I'm sorry. There's a House bill called the Nick Shirley Act in California.
Correct. So you cannot film, immigrants, right? You cannot film immigrants in places like what he did, right? If you know anything about Nick Shirley, he was filming things in Minnesota and things in California to show off any kind of fraud, right? So now they're trying to pass a bill to stop that.
This is why ultimately I think it always comes down to violence, because I believe that there is something that you can call universally preferred behavior. We would all prefer if people did not lie to us or cheat or steal or whatever, go all the way down the line, scheme, scam, plot, backstab, fraud. But people do these things.
Yeah.
And then what you'll find is it's almost like a cat and mouse game where once, if you want to call it a good versus evil situation or a scenario, whatever you want to call it, when one group becomes more sophisticated to up the ante, when it gets to the point where people that are, I'll use the word objectively, and I am an objectivist. I believe in objective reality. When the left starts legalizing criminality, the right has to do certain things to sort of try to defeat them.
Correct.
Then the left will up the ante and say, well, you can't even prove it. Even if you can film it, even if you can prove using videographic evidence that illegal activity is taking place, that doesn't matter. Really what the left is saying is, we know we're criminal. What are you going to do about it? See what I'm saying? And once you get to that point, I mean, the left is actually right. What are we going to do about it? So, it's a very, it's, I don't know. Again, like I said, it's the very first thing I said, I don't have all the answers, but I think in the end, if people don't want to follow rules, in the end, it always comes down to violence. And that's because, certain people will say, well, who gets to make the rules? And what is the truth? What is reality? And I don't like that talk because I think that that's subjectivism. I think that that's a lie. Again, like I said, I think this gets back to like objective truth. So what I think will happen in the future is I think there's going to be I think violence eventually will occur. And either A, there will be a civil war, or B, the government will try to prevent civil war, and they'll say, okay, there's too much corruption, and they'll institute reforms they'll institute corrective action. So, I don't know. Right now, it looks like things are falling apart. It looks like places like France, places like the United Kingdom, they're being taken over by immigrants.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hearing reports now that Muslim immigrants are saying they don't even want dogs. Like, you can't even bring your dog to the park anymore because Muslims don't
I heard
like
that.
dogs.
Yeah, I heard of that one.
Yeah. So again, it's just fun. It's fundamental. Like they're not assimilating. They're saying, no, you must assimilate to us. And that's what conquest is, I think.
Yeah,
So
exactly. No,
you know,
exactly.
either nut up or shut up. I'll leave it at that.
No, I agree. I 100% agree. This is why I believe, us as Americans, we're less, complacent or placating like, the Europeans. But I mean, again, it only takes, I do think I said we're less, but it doesn't mean that we're not. So I think this is a slippery slope that we're facing where we should not let certain things slide. Right.
Of course. And I think a lot of this, I'm sorry to say this, I think a lot of this goes back to like World War II and the Nazis or the Germans at that time. So you have the Nazis and they have like a racist political platform. And so I think like Nazism and the residue, the what's considered the evil from that era has been splashed all over the media and wagged in front of it's been inculcated in the minds of Western people like, hey, you don't want to be those people are bad, so you have to allow all this. And these same people experience it. Like, for example, I remember learning, this was just recently, I can't remember, like a month ago, what is it, in Britain, women, or mostly white women, young white girls, so adolescent girls and young women are like, I don't know, I can't remember the number, I'm sorry, like 37 times more likely to be sexually assaulted or SA'd than women in America. And they're like, 57 times more likely to be sexually assaulted than women in whatever, take any other country, Vietnam or whatever country. It's unbelievable the amount of women that are being predated on, but no one does nothing.
Exactly. I mean, I saw this video, right? Parliament, right? UK Parliament, where they were trying to they pushed back on investigating these crimes, these SA crimes. They say that no, we shouldn't be investigating these crimes because it could be viewed as racist or Islamophobic and all shit. I was like, are you kidding me? Your government is absolutely useless.
My thing is that I don't like to use right and left, but the left is going to get destroyed by the middle and the right. So that is not even going to be a fight, in my opinion. I'm sorry, because these people, you just heard that guy say that he would convert, he would bend the knee. You know what I'm saying? He would bend the knee, and that's crazy. And I don't think people like us are more likely, or even people from the right are going to be willing to bend the knee or going to be willing to convert. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's going to be, like you say, it's going to be a real war, but I don't see the left lasting too long because they're not, they have nothing to stand on, in my opinion. They have nothing to stand on. Their whole ideology is false. And once the war starts, they're going to find out how real stuff is. They're going to have to live in reality. Sadly, they're going to have to, or they're going to not be around. That's the choice they have: live in reality or not be around.
I mean, yeah, it's true. And this is the thing where if we actually care about, our culture, but our women, I mean, like, just like Cowboy said, right? A study from March of last year, like over like 700,000 women, right? Ages 16 and over experience SA, right? It's like, that is insane. That is an insane amount of women that, that happened to. And yeah, if you compare it to like America, it is a lot higher in the UK than it is America. That is dangerous. That is insane.
Yeah, I think it's by like I think it's by like orders of magnitude too. It's not like twice as likely, 3 times as like, it's like 47 times likely or some ginormous number.
that is that is a big number, and and there's a clear difference, right? They graph the difference where the change in times, right? Why is it now you have more of a chance of being SA than 30 years ago? Because of the difference in demographic. And that's what we have to watch out for. That's what I mean. Like, again, I believe the America's much stronger will than the UK, but I mean it's a slippery slope, right? It's something that we need to watch out for. And if we let liberals, the left, take fully control, I think it's just eventuality, right? I mean, like if we have like a couple more.
I was going to say, unfortunately, I think it's an eventuality. So I'd like to slightly pivot to another subject, but it's actually the same subject. It's just moving away from the macro, moving towards the micro. I think that the bigger problem is, you talk about feminism a lot, and I think in many ways, feminism or leftism, I don't care what you call it, is really the root of the problem. I think the average man in America, or in the West for that matter, is so dejected, so emasculated, so henpecked that they kind of allow all this. They know something is wrong. They know that there are abuses happening, but the men, they now allow it.
Yeah.
And if you figure out why, and I think I know why, I think it has to do with I don't want to say it's men's fault. I sort of blame men and women equally, but in different ways. I think that men have lost their I think that men have been robbed of their dignity. And when you rob a man of his dignity, you can impose slavery on him. Once a man loses his self-respect, you can get away with more and more abuses. And then, of course, writ large, or society, once you can do this to an entire society, you can slowly enslave them.
Totally agree. This is why I made the controversial opinion always that I believe feminism is the root of all evil, of all modern day problems, right? I believe feminism is the root of all modern day problems. You could lead pretty much any issue back to feminism. And this is why I agree that we need, I mean, yeah, it's a bit of men's fault because we allow it, right? We placate it. We allow things to happen. So definitely men have a big, fault in it. But
I'm not saying you have to be a super soldier. I'm not saying you got to be Rambo, single-handedly, fighting, crusade. But if you as a person do not offer, if you don't offer up any resistance, if you don't put up any resistance at all to what's happening, and if enough men don't do this, then yes, of course, then over time it changes the culture. Next thing you know, or as they say, law is downstream from culture. Next thing you know, they're changing the laws. Now you have fewer rights. Now people can punk you. That's really what's going on. The West is being punked. That's what's going on. And if men even began to resist, there would be pushback. But right now, I don't see a lot of pushback.
I agree. There's not enough. I'm glad for these spaces where more and more men are talking about it and more talking against it. So that's definitely that's why I love this space, and I promote more men to talk about it. And this is kind of why I wanted to, do more panel shows, because I want to give more men a voice, because we should be talking about it more and more.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I think I've garnered a little bit of here and there, a little bit about your story. I thought I remember that you're a family man, or that you had a wife and a child, but I don't know the details. Did you suffer a deleterious divorce? Is that what happened to you?
No, yeah. I mean, I did suffer more of a breakup, right? I mean, it wasn't.
Would you mind telling your story? Did you have children too? Is that what happened?
I did. Yes. Where again, we a lot of the story a lot of men face, right? Where just use it for the child, to get child support, to just not needing the man, not wanting to commit to the man anymore. That was my ex, where I thought we were going to be together forever, only to have kids, and then just left me because I wouldn't give more money to her. Right, I didn't have enough money for her, and it's just and not allow me to see my kids. It was I said this story a few times where it broke me. Right, I was on the verge of wanting to end things. Right, it was a very hard time. Dealing with like not being able to see my kids, and thinking that the woman I supposedly love didn't really love me that much. Took the
Did it
kids
ever,
away and just wanted the money.
did it ever get to the point where she was taking you to court?
She no, didn't get to the point where she was taking me to court. It just gets to the point where she just didn't threaten me with court, right? So and there are a time where I was like completely broke, right? I've said this where I got into debt, right, to help her out because she needed money. I got in heavy debt, so I definitely couldn't afford court at all. All right, so the threat with courts was a scary threat, right? So I was completely heavy in debt and negative bank account, really like rock bottom. So it was hard.
Okay. I want to share with you in a minute a personal anecdote, but give me a minute. Give me 2 minutes. I have to pour myself a drink.
Yeah, it's fine. But I just I want to wind down. Any thoughts and any last words and stuff like that? I would love to hear Cowboys anecdotes. Big Bars, anything you want to say?
I just really think that it's a huge call to having a backbone and learning the past. We have to learn the history. We have to learn where the stuff comes from. The it's such a problem that these young people or these people will argue us down about stuff they haven't even looked into. It's just like that woman talk about some oh uh uh Islamic terrorism doesn't exist. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Like you have no concept of anything that's real, of reality. And I think that's what we gotta get back to. We gotta get back to reality. We gotta get used to having a backbone because if we let stuff keep on going along, we're in a huge Trojan horse situation right now, and the enemy is climbing over the gates right now, and we have to do something to stop it. That's what I feel.
I agree. Definitely. I mean, we definitely gotta learn. All right, we gotta learn, and we can't let ourselves be weak. We can't let ourselves allow certain things to happen. We just definitely gotta watch out. So, you know, here, let's check this Shirley thing for a little bit. I wanted to check that out, show a little bit about it, what I talked about. We could, and then we'll watch this a little bit if Cowboy is ready. Let him get his.
Oh yeah, no, I'm ready now. I figured
go ahead.
you wanted to wind down. I figured you wanted to wind down. So
no, go ahead. I want to let you get the last few words.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Just to take a minute, or maybe 2 full minutes, I want to share with you guys a story, and it's a personal anecdote that basically shows not on the micro. I'm sorry, not on the macro, but on the micro. What I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Last October, I got a phone call. It's my dad. I haven't seen my dad in 2 years. He says, Joe, or my name is Joe. He says, Joe, I love you. How you doing? Oh, I'm doing great, Dad. He says, Joe, are you in the city? I live in Chicago. He says, I want to go to lunch. Let's go to lunch. Okay, let's go to lunch. I haven't seen you. We go to lunch, and my dad says, Joe, I'm in my 70s now. I got some bad news. My kidneys are failing me. I'm on dialysis now. I say, Dad, I'm sorry to hear that. He says, Joe, would you consider donating to me a kidney? Right away, I told him, no, absolutely not. I'm going to let you die. Yeah. And I'd like to tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
And he already knew why, but this is me telling you guys. I told my dad, I tell you guys this, what I told my dad last October. I said to my dad, you went along with feminism. You married a hardcore, this woman was openly and publicly a feminist. She ended up cheating on my father multiple times with multiple different men. Once the extent of her infidelity came to light, I completely withdrew my support of their marriage. In fact, for years, I've been demanding justice from my father, which is basically me telling my dad, you have to get divorced. This is unacceptable. On top of that, there were, of course, other abuses. Believe it or not, a lot of, how can I put it? I'll call them negative personal attributes. A lot of negative characteristics tend to cluster. I'm sure you guys might understand. People who tend to steal also tend to lie. People who tend to lie and steal also tend to cheat and scheme and scam and play, everything I just said. Well, she was guilty of a number of abuses. I had been recording these abuses and disseminating this information to the family for years. Nobody cares. The women, I come from on one side is a big Mexican family. On the other side, it's like a white family. None of the women care. They're all in league. They don't care. So it got to the point where I told my dad, listen, I'm sorry, your wife is abusive. You stick with her. She was abusive to me and to my other family members. She was, of course, abusive to you. I can't stand this. And it ended up causing a schism between my father and I. And so you have to understand, yes, of course, you have these women running wild, but there's a lot of men who knowingly, they know the women they're out of pocket.
Yeah.
They're ratchet, they're lying, they're cheating, but the men go along. I'm not saying all men go along, but enough of them go along where it's become a structural problem within our society. How we fix this, I don't know. But that's just one example. That's what we're dealing with. There's a lot of men who know the women are out here, they're lying, they're cheating, they're pushing leftist ideology, they're aborting their own children. They invite all these immigrants in that end up turning around and victimizing their own children. The women don't get what I don't even claim to know what the answer is. I'll leave it at that.
I will say this, right? For me, I agree. There was one point where, like I said, my last relationship, I think I was that fool, right? I was thinking I was that idiot where I was, it's like a lot of us as kids, right? We grow up thinking, we always say that the Disney fairy tale has, blinded women. It has blinded men as well, right? We think that we're white knights. We think that we should be, all this, fairy tale shit. And until you actually experience the reality of women, you don't understand shit. So it definitely woke me up, experiencing rock bottom. And in my opinion, I don't think there's a clear cut way to fix things, but I think that men talking about it, men hopefully waking up other men, which it's a small growing population, right? The red pill, the manosphere, corner of the internet. It's a small population, but I mean, I think it's a slow growing one. And I think that's one of the best ways where it helps waking up men. So that's why I see it. Like I've said this, where Red Pill, this community saved my life, where it gave me the strength to move on, and it woke me up for my foolishness. So
yeah, that's how I feel. I've used that phrase before. I actually believe it kind of saved my life. Well, I want to also add two things. I actually think that it's, as of late, been going more mainstream. And I'll give you two examples. The latest example is a guy called, I guess he was a sergeant in the military, in the U.S. military. His name was Sergeant Pop. Have you heard of Good Pop, Bad Pop of redonkulous.com? No? Okay, he was recently on, I think it was in Detroit, Fox News, Fox 2 Detroit. And he was talking about basically Red Pill. They had him on. And prior to that, I mean, there's many examples, but the one other example I'll cite right now is, what's her name? Oprah. I'm sure you guys have heard of Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay, everyone knows Oprah. Oprah a couple months ago had Professor Scott Galloway on her podcast. She has a podcast now on the internet, and they were talking about none other than the Red Pill and the Manosphere. And so, these subjects are being talked about, however slowly. But it's not enough. It's not the end goal. The end goal has to be political change, I think.
I mean, yeah, we need more men in the political sphere.
I think ultimately, as terrible as it sounds to say this, we need to man-fair the laws, and what that means ultimately is taking away some of women's rights. Not all, but taking away some of their rights. For example, when a man and a woman get divorced or a separation occurs, the woman legally, you can look it up. It's called the tender years doctrine. See, there's something called family court. There's different types of courts. There's criminal court, traffic court. Well, there's also family court. Family court, and by extension, divorce court. Divorce court is family court. Same thing. Family court generates more money than all other courts combined in the United States. Somewhere between 50 and 60 billion dollars a year. We're talking about an industry here. And when people get divorced, the man has to pay for everything. And who do you guys think gets? Everyone's making money off this. The woman, the courts, the police, the stenographers, the judges, the lawyers, the police workers, and it's all being paid by men.
Yeah. I mean, like, child support has to go through the court first, then it goes to the woman. But guess what? It goes to the court first because they need their cut.
Right. Right. They take some cut, and this has all been studied. Basically, slavery has come back to America. But it's no longer the chattel ownership of people's bodies based on skin color. Now it's based on gender. Now I should say sex. Even gender has become politicized. Now it's based on, you got a hole between your legs, or you got a twig and berries.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree, and that's the thing where I don't know if we make it men, but like, why can't we just make it fair? Like, what is it? I think Kentucky or whatever put up no fault divorce, and divorce rates are plummeted. I mean, like, there's like women aren't like jumping to just easily divorce a man.
Okay. So there are glimmers of hope. You bring up the recent legislation in Kentucky. Kentucky, I think this was late last year. So August or September, maybe October of last year, 2025. We're in the first quarter of 2026, or I guess now just entering the second quarter. They just got rid of what is it called? They reinstituted 50-50 mandatory 50-50 custody.
Yeah.
So prior to this, the woman would get something called primary custody. And the man would have to fight for 50-50 custody. Now it's automatic in Kentucky. Basically, the legal standing of men has just climbed or gotten better in Kentucky. That's a small, that's better than nothing. That's better than nothing. But we need to see this happening all across the board.
So, it should be nationwide. It should be nationwide.
It should be nationwide, right? So what I think we need is we need to get men. What we need is men like you running your channel, spreading the word. Okay? Because over time that changes the culture. Once the culture changes, once enough of the culture changes and becomes more popular, then the laws change.
Exactly.
See, that's what we need to do. We need to change the culture. We need to make it unpopular to say I'm a feminist.
Exactly. 100. I've made my channel built on like condemning feminism, right? I built my, and that's what I want to promote. And this is what I'm trying to do with the community, because I believe it's been the detriment of our society. It's the downhill of our society. I've said this, right? You could pretty much pick any kind of problem, immigration, socially, whatever. It leads back to feminism, right? And the downfall of feminism is the rebuilding of our society. 100%. I agree. So I'm all for it. This is why I wanted to create this community, and why I wanted to do these panel shows, so I could give more men voices, because we need to speak out. So definitely.
Yeah, and I'll leave it at that. And I like to run around. I like to run around the internet and basically touch base with all the guys that I see out there spreading this message, and just tell them, you're doing a good job. Good job. I agree with you. Please continue doing what you're doing. These are our goals. This is what we should move towards.
I love that you stand by your principle with your father too. It must have been hard for you, but it was amazing that you stood tall on your principles. I love that.
Well, I didn't mention this, but it's worth mentioning now. This all crescendoed. This all came to a head 10 years ago, maybe 11 years ago now. I was arrested. I was arrested by the Chicago Police Department. I got into a fight with my stepmother, a physical altercation.
Wow.
I was a couple days, I think 3 days away from moving out of my apartment, or moving out of my parents' home and into my first apartment. And well, basically I told her how I felt about her, and I was using very, very unkind words. I called her a whore. Well, she hit me. She punched me in the face she punched me in the face and broke my glasses. After that, I hit her back, and it spiraled into a family fight. Here's another piece of advice I can offer young men, and my message is to all men, but especially young men. I'm starting to get old. I'm 42 now. I tell all young men, if a woman hits you, even if it's her fault, do not hit her back. It is an injustice. It is. But the laws are so stacked against men, you will go to jail. Likely, you will go to jail and she won't. I had to hire a lawyer to resolve the issue. I had to go to anger management. Let me tell you something. I don't have anger. Well, I mean, everyone's got anger. I don't have anger issues. I can control my emotions. This is the first. That was the first time. That's the first time I'd ever, been convicted, been arrested, been convicted of a crime. I was a Boy Scout. But I'm telling you, feminism is this new thing. When that happened, my father had to make a decision. Am I going to side with my son? And my father was there. He witnessed the whole thing. Am I going to side with my son, or am I going to side with my wife? He sided with his wife. And I told my dad through back channels, Dad, she was caught cheating. Dad, you were there. You witnessed the whole thing. You saw her hit me first. How could you go along with this? What you also have to understand, though, is that my father, he was divorced before. He was married before to my bio mom, my biological mom. And he lost everything. He lost his house. He lost two multi-unit investment properties. He lost 3 properties, a house and 2 rentals. And so I think what happened was, when he got married again, I think he was very scared to the idea of standing up to his wife, because he knows what happens when you get divorced. The woman always wins. And so that's another problem, is like, because of the laws, men are scared to do the right thing. And so they will allow this corruption. They'll allow the the gynocentric abuse of decent, good, honest, decent men. That's what happened to me. That's what happened to my father. And then when my father came and said, Joe, I need your help, of course, because I'm angry and resentful, and of course, because to this day he won't admit any wrongdoing, I said, no, I'm not going to reward your bad behavior. And so in the end, what does it do? It tears down the families. It creates it creates an atmosphere of dysfunction and mistrust. And that is feminism today.
Mm-hmm. And you just made a amazing story. That's why I said, right? Desperate men make weak men. Right? I mean, he didn't learn from his mistake, which just made him continue to be weak. And weak men are just, not worth pandering to. So, but thank you for sharing your story, my brother.
Yeah, and of course, part of the reason why I share that story, however painful, I sort of got off pretty easy. I mean, I was able to, of course, I hired a lawyer, hired a private lawyer, to get my case, what's it called, sealed and then expunged, and I've never lost any job prospects because of this. I never lost, I didn't have kids. I didn't lose a house. I got off relatively unscathed. I had to pay some lawyer's fees. What I'm telling you or your audience is that there are some men that have their entire lives disrupted. Really, there's some men that actually have their lives destroyed because of this.
Exactly. I agree. Great story. Great man. Guys, awesome. Thank you for being here. Right? I love it. Right? Cowboy, thank you for being here, my brother.
Right? Yeah, it was a pleasure. I've been watching you for many months now.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. All right, guys. Big bars. Thank you for being here too, guys. This is gonna be it, right? I love you. That's it for tonight. All right. Thank you for being here. Hope you guys would, come on more often, right? Like I said, I do these panel shows every Wednesday, so I would love to see you guys more often. I mean, Big Bars is here a lot. I mean, Cowboy, I hope I hear you more often too.
Can you do me a favor? Can you plug your channel right now? Because I think I'm going to rip this from your channel and put this on my channel in the coming days.
Awesome, perfect. That's perfectly fine.
What's your channel?
All right, Devil's Advocate, right? You can see the username right here. Devil's Advocate YT. Please check me out, right? And if anyone ever want to, right, just check out Cowboy, all right?
The name of your channel is called Devil's Advocate.
Yep, Devil's Advocate.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep, no problem, my brother. Thank you for being here.
Yep. All right. Talk to you later. Bye now.
Later, my brother. Later. Big Bars. Any last words?
I just wanted to say that I agree with everything y'all was just talking about. Hopefully, I tell people this all the time. I think we're at the beginning of the end. It's like we're at the beginning of it. So a lot of what he was talking about, we're getting there. How long it's going to take, who knows? But it's less people are having babies. That's less child support. Less people are getting married. There's less divorce money. Less people are even dealing with relationships. That's taking money out of these people's pockets, and that's how I think we're going to start to get laws changed, because these people lose enough money, they're going to switch it up. They're going to switch it up. In a lot of ways, I think the sad thing is that a lot of women don't understand. You have been used to destroy your legacy, and now we're done with you.
Yeah,
that's how they think. That's how these people think. Thank you for paying us all this money, and thank you for destroying your own families. But we're done with you now, and you see that with all the Section 8 being taken away, all the SNAP being taken away. They're done with them now. They have served their purpose. They have destroyed their legacies. They have destroyed their families. In the 20s, I say this all the time. In the 20s, especially Black families were on the rise. And how did when the then the 60s happens, and then all of a sudden we go in the toilet. That is that's something that we looked at, and I just can't get over the fact that these people have benefited from it, so they don't see nothing wrong with it. And that's what like I say, right is right and wrong is wrong. You know, right is right and wrong is wrong. I don't care if I'm benefiting from something. If it's that wrong, I'm not going to be down with it.
Mm.
And I think until a lot of women start to really think that, well, women need to speak up against these man hating women. They need to speak up against these man hating women.
Definitely.
They do. They have to, because they're going to be left with these man hating women. They're going to be left alone. And the sad thing is that most women don't want to be left alone, but they're just going along with this man hating thing. I don't get it.
It's the fake sisterhood, right? They think that it's trending and they think it's popular. You don't want to go against the sisterhood, but it's just, this is the thing where it's going to be their downfall, right? I'm seeing more and more women, crying about being lonely. Well, I'm sorry, it's your fault. It's your fault because you think you're siding with women and it's going to benefit you. It's not. A lot of women are selfish and self-destructive. They don't realize that, they are destroying themselves. So no.
I agree.
Big Bars, thank you for being here. I love your support. I love you, man. Thank you for being here, my brother.
Appreciate it. I love you too, man.
All right. That's it for tonight, my brother. All right. That's it. Later, guys.
Peace.
Thank you guys for being here. All right. Thank you guys for the love. Thank you guys for the support. Please check out my other videos. Please comment, like. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. But yeah, you guys are amazing. Later.